And Hen is still in this position. Now, Foke trading things out. Raph finds one, as does Cartels. Mihawk able to trade out once again, and they know where Jess is for this 1v3. He is done and dusted. Mihawk once again, the one to put the final nail on the round.
Setting up the flank, when you've got those number of advantages, you know some of the potential routes on the flank are not going to be covered. He just wraps all the way around from behind, can kick into game whenever he wants. He's not the one that initiates it. His teammates starting to put some shots down. He walks through. It's 2 free kills to kill the round off. Team's heading over towards the A side now. This was working for Luminosity. They went to change it up. Hasn't worked since. Foki will be the first one to find a kill. Raph shut down as he tries to push through. It's a big grenade. It's a set grenade. And Foki's just going to get aggressive as well. He's going to be able to find anything. No, he isn't, because Mihawk is there to do it for him. And Foki is then following up. Here comes the cavalry. And with an R9 in hand, a dangerous prospect. Kings does answer back. 4 versus 3. Make it a 4 versus 2.
This is very aggressive from Gallerus. They're getting deep into it. Jez knows it as well. He just held that angle and got something off the over-aggression. Cartels really would have wanted that fight. You know where Jez is, so just trying to hit this one at the same time. Yep, there it is. 2 versus 1 works out perfectly. And now Cartels left alive. 1 versus 3. Might have just seen Mihawk. What? No! Mihawk gets first shots in, but Cartels will turn on him. Keeps this 1 versus 3 alive.
The snap from Cartels, giving Luminosity a little bit of hope here. They've got a good eye on where he is. Papsira has been frying in this game, put up some serious numbers at map number 1, and that's as crispy as you could possibly want. Big shot from him, kills the round off. Gallerus still in prime position here now, Brody.
It's just Gallerus outplaying Luminosity in so many of these different positions, right? That play call from them was perfect. Now the double blind is a rush straight towards B. Who's going to win out? The R9 of Foke has been a problem, as has the Fennec of Mihawk, and it continues to be so. The snipes of Lucastin and Pabzera also in the mix. And Cartels left alive once again. Sorry, Tom, mate, you didn't even get a chance to get into that round. That was so fast.
And these are the kind of rounds that you just want to avoid if you're Luminosity. When those first couple of rounds, we had some close ones over towards A, where they were taking their time. Utility was going through. They were trying to put the pressure on that side. As soon as we went over towards B, I don't think Luminosity have had a sniff. Gallerus onto the attacking side. They can now dictate where they really want to go, and they're going to continue going over towards B because, hell, why not? It's been working out so well. It's happened again. Luminosity are just getting slain left, right, and center. 6-1 to the good now. This Gallerus search and destroy is looking scary.
I just don't understand how Luminosity didn't see them run past. They run straight behind them. LG had no idea whatsoever. I mean, maybe Gallerus just got there first. I'm not really sure, but either way, LG taken by surprise from behind. Now Gallerus on map point. Once again, double blind straight towards B.
Just finds first blood. Foki will find one back, but usually the result of anything over towards B is only one thing and one thing only, and that's a Gallerus round win. 1 more player remaining. Gallerus have just made absolute mincemeat of Luminosity here on Express. Yeah, hold your best S&D and take the L. 2 to the good. Gallerus running away with this one.
That's an LG map. That is an LG map. You get that, you get gifted that by the Vetoes. You take that. And yet the same kind of play style that we know LG are capable of from SBS Season 5, they just were never able to enact it. What gives them success on that map mode combination back during the challenge season? It's Raph getting in positions where he can be a nuisance with the R9. It's Jez being frustrating with a sniper at long range. You just could never activate any of that, because Gallerus were constantly up in your face. They were winning the R9 battles with Foke, and I gotta give some love to Mihawk, man, because he was constantly running routes around Luminosity. He was running rings around Luminosity, to be honest with you. They had no idea where he was 90% of the time.
It felt like when things were a little slower, it was working out quite well for LG. It was a decent start from them. You know, they were unfortunate not to be 2-0 up. But after that, they were like, okay, let's try B out. Let's throw some different things at Gallerus. Gallerus like, oh, you want to go into 5v5 gunfights towards one side? Yeah, bet. No problem. 12-6 from Foki. And a 7-1 lead. And the Search and Destroy is enough to take the map away. A 2-0 lead in the series. I'm sure I did say 3-0, I think.
You want to say 3-0 now. You know, and it goes back to those storylines, right? I mean, there's so much of the conversation around Gallerus is always Lucastin, right? And you know, I think we're partially guilty of that, right? Mobile Masters,
it's hard not to be.
It's hard not to be, because he is just that good of a player, and there's always that conversation of point, like, is he the best player in the world? I think certainly we were having those conversations around Mobile Masters, but you really do have to give some love to the rest of the Gallerus side, because all of them are capable of keeping up with him. I think in this series in particular, they've actually outpaced him. Lucastin, I think, has taken a step back somewhat, while the rest of the team are the ones slaying out, and that's not the worst thing in the world, because it doesn't matter who's slaying out as long as they're winning.
I think that's one thing we have talked about, though, with the side of Gallerist. When it has come down to their general gameplay, it has sometimes felt like as if Lukashin's not having a good game, then they sometimes can struggle up against some of the better teams. He hasn't had to have a good game. The rest of the team are absolutely frying. Pabzera in map number 1 was utterly dominant. Every single time we've seen him on our screens or seen the kill feed, it was him lighting LG up, and now LG have to do almost the impossible here against Gallerist. It would have to be a reverse sweep if they want to come back into this series and stay alive here at Call of Duty Mobile World Champs.
Yep, and again, a positive going in this one. This is probably the best map you could have asked for in Control if you are LG. This is their strongest Control map by far. I mean, as a matter of fact, they got 4 wins during the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 5 in North America on Control, and all 4 of them came from Arsenal. So you basically won the jackpot as far as the vetoes were concerned for Control. But still, I mean, does it really matter at this point? Because on the flip side of that conversation, you've got Gallerist, who albeit have, I think, relatively struggled on Control this weekend. You know, you go back to their Season 5, their domestic challenge season, and they were flawless on Control. They were the best Control team in that region. So I think it is so difficult at this point, not just to ask LG to win this map, but to ask them to reverse sweep. They are fighting a very, very steep uphill battle.
That's the thing for LG here as well, because that's Gallerist now 6-0 on Search and Destroy. Gallerist will now be thinking to themselves, right, okay, well, even if we lose these next 2 maps, we have another Search and Destroy. We haven't lost one all week. That's going to be confidence inspiring for them. They will know themselves, even if the reverse sweep is potentially on the cards, okay, there will definitely be some nerves there, absolutely. But if that goes to a map 5, they will still feel supremely confident they can walk away with this series, and that will also be in the back of their minds now to think, right, we've got 2 maps to finish this one off. We might not need them because we have that map number 5 in the Search and Destroy in the back pocket securely at this stage, because it's been absolutely superb. But Arsenal Control going to be coming up next. I think, you know, for LG to have that flawless record on this map is going to give them confidence heading into this. The Gallerist are a different beast, man.
But like the thing is, right, I mean, you'd probably be thinking the same thing going in the Search and Destroy. You'd probably be like, well, hey, Express Search and Destroy is our map, right? So we're going to do well. And that just happened. I don't know if you saw it, but that was a pretty good Search and Destroy for Gallerist. So, you know, again, it's kind of like maybe expectations are out the window. There's always the asterisk as well with these kind of conversation points. I mean, really, the stats from the domestic regions are just, these are the preferential maps for these teams. These are the maps where these guys have had success. But how much does that really matter when you come into an international event like this? Like, really, you're looking at performances like those on Mobile Masters, like those at CDSI, to see, all right, you can be good at these maps domestically, but when you go up against the best teams in other regions, does that same kind of thing pan out? And, you know, I'm getting the vibe at the moment that given the fact that, you know, LG just lost that Express Search and Destroy, I mean, maybe it's not working against international teams.
And for everybody at home, just to remind you of how these teams actually managed to get away through. Gallerist had to go to their very final game to get there. It took them 5 before they were able to get it done. It was a 3-2 out of Swiss. So they're coming in as the lowest seed here. Luminosity got through within 4. It took the 5 for Gallerist to get into bracket play. With a big single elimination. Tough to take for either one of these 2 teams if you do go in with the L, which right now is looking like LG's option in this series, because Gallerist are giving them none other. How's this one going to go, though? Is it potentially Arsenal Control to bring it back into this game if you are LG, or do Gallerist continue the theme of 3-0s today? It's been one-sided in nearly every single affair. It has been the case here in this series in particular as well, but can Luminosity potentially turn it around here on Arsenal Control?
I would love a competitive series. I would love to even get a sniff of a Game 5, but we're very far away from it right now. Gallerist, do they come out all guns blazing like they have the last couple of maps already? It looks like that might be the case. First couple of kills going their way. Luminosity trying to fight a war on 2 fronts, but you're not going to get a war won when you're facing Lucasin on the other side of the battlefield.
Oh, and you worried for him when that sniper play did come through. They get up close and personal. It does not matter what this man is using, and this is just not the start you would have wanted if you're Luminosity. Pabzera finding one down the outside. It's only Estok who can really answer back to what has been a flurry of kills for Gallerist to kick things off. And with it, plenty of map control.
LG will have to slow things up considerably here. Raf trying to play sneaky for a route, perhaps towards B. Maybe towards A. You've got to make a decision, I think, pretty fast here. Focky getting the read, doesn't matter. Raf's going to run-gun him, so that's a good start. The problem is, though, you might well have that 1 kill. The rest of your teammates haven't actually gotten kills anywhere else. Maybe not. Maybe Raf is just good enough to pick up all these gunfights, create some space for the rest of LG, because nobody is now contesting him in the middle of the map.
Yeah, They had to rotate around for the pressure that was coming in. There is actually a spawn kill potentially on the go as well here. Raph doing actually crazy things here with the KRM. And he is really one of the big reasons as to why they've actually managed to find themselves this far up the map. 29 seconds on the clock. That has now been stopped with the pressure that they've been able to go on over towards A. Keep an eye on Pabzera. He might be the one to make the move here. If the rest of the team can get something going through the double doors, Cartels will find one onto him though and shut that down. So that should be a gun. Be locked in by Luminosity. So now B, they have a whole minute and a half to try and get things going. But Gallerus have been setting up here for some time, but they've been dealt with. Jez finds not 1, 2, but 3. And that opens the door well and truly wide open for the side of LG.
He is gone. LG now on the way. Nobody from Gallerus to deal with here, but those ones coming off the spore. And Henry Cat's trying to be on the point though. Raph now looking to be a nuisance with the KRM. Going to immediately bring out this Predator Missile to deal with that pesky player that is on the point. Luminosity, first tick about to potentially be through here. Gallerus got to find your way through.
Yeah, Gallerus has just been really broken open by the side of Raph. The shotgun come out and all of a sudden they came to play it. Henry Cat can find 2 though. Here comes the pressure from the side of Gallerus, who just wiped them off the face of the planet. 9-9 on lives, but the thing is now for LG, they haven't necessarily been pushed back here. What a huge name from Cartel straight off the spawn. Will give Luminosity the initiation here if they can try and find a way through.
Yeah, we've been taken here by Raph though. Again, he's trying to do the exact same thing, create some space for the rest of his team while the rest of Luminosity make their way to the front of the point. Cartel also invest in the War Machine. He's found one, but you don't quite account for Meekhawk with 3. Cartel's still alive though. Cartel's
trying to get something going here. Gallerus only have 4 lives remaining, but they just need to hold on site. One player on the flank is going to not be dealt with. That's going to be Raph to find hand. 3 versus 5. Boki now going to be taken down as well. Lukashin can find 1, but Pabzera has also brought out the War Machine. He needs to find some value with it. Luminosity backing up because they have the time to. Pabzera can find another. Surely doesn't find that gunfight. He does not. A 1 versus 3 for Lukashin is what is needed, but just so difficult for him to do in this position with the sniper. That should be the round to LG and is. Through thick or thin, they get the job done. That was a scary one for a second, but they get the job well and truly done. Very well played. Yeah, and it's the exact same strategy twice there for Luminosity consecutively, right? They get Raph through the map, they get in a position where he is cutting off LG, forcing them to all go up the steps. They can't get through Raph, not when he's got the KRM at that short range. Not even Focky can beat him in those gunfights. So for Gallerus, just getting outplayed by that. LG with the strats, win them that round number 1. Now can they follow it up with a solid defense in round number 2. The one operator that they've got ready to go here, S-Thug, gonna bring it out to play. Not finding any value just yet because Gallerus made their way towards B. Gallerus have freely walked down the B street. Stuck well placed to Pabzera, and now all of a sudden LG can start to think about trying to get a little bit more control over towards the side because Gallerus just walked straight up. They will find those kills, they will push out those lanes. Keep an eye on Meekhawk. They know where he is though. He's taking some damage, so they've got a decent idea, but he's got a claw in his hands. Now he's on the spawn spree. Yeah, this is going to be dangerous, but they deal with him almost immediately. No players really spawning in for him to deal with. Everybody from Gallerus wasn't really finding the kills that he needed them to find.
And I think more to the point here, Gallerus haven't actually done anything off the back of that, right? A was totally clear. Now they're preoccupied with the Luminosity players that are trying to retake the point. No progress made whatsoever. Now Raph coming in from behind, having the help of Kings with him. Also Jez on the other side. Jez at the very least will be dealt with, but now the spawn trap coming through from LG. Gallerus, I think at this point, the 4 players that are alive, you've just got to kind of stick to this point.
Oh, they've lost a couple of kills as well, and that's going to create a little bit of chaos. Are they going to have enough help to actually get out of this spawn trap? No, they are not. S-Thug finds 2. He's going to be left on his own to try and keep things going. Lives-wise, we are leaning towards Luminosity ever so slightly. They'll deal with the players who were there on that spawn trap, who are now starting to find the way around again. A has been captured, though, and Gallerus are working on plenty here over towards the B side, whereas Luminosity really focused on the spawn trap. It hasn't necessarily worked here, Brody.
Yeah, I think they committed just a little too much resources to that spawn trap. I think they had 2 or 3 players in behind enemy lines while nobody was keeping an eye on the middle of the map. Fortunately enough, Raph is there though. S-Thug, I think, forced to invest the Predator Missile here to clear things up a little bit against Gallerus. And Gallerus will be sent back to square 1. But they have a lot of time here. They've already got 1 tick down on B. And Luminosity, their entire backline is reliant on S-Thug getting these kills, and I think that's the route that Gallerus are taking here. Will it work? I think Raph with the jump up might have just made the call to the teammates. That's what's happening.
If Raph can find something else here, that will be huge for him and his team. He knows this player's there. He does actually manage to find Meekhawk before going down to Lukashin. You can see already Gallerus are starting to work on some sort of flank if they can. Meekhawk And Code trying to get something done. Stug is the one watching it though. He can find one before he gets taken down by Foki. But here come the rest of the team. But now they're going to be distracted by the fact that Foki is here. He's pulled out the equalizer, but he's going to have so many players in and around him. But is that going to open up the door for the rest of Gallerist? Or can Foki just deal with them? He can only find one. But is that going to give them the room on the other side of the map?
But it's the exact same thing that we saw earlier on, where Gallerist, you're getting a player in that position, but you're not doing anything with it. You can't just follow that out with another flank. And that's the attempt here. Cartel's in behind, able to get the team shots. There's the finisher. Pabzera down for the count. That's a bad decision from Gallerist. If you're going to get a player with the claw into the spawn trap, you need to have players ready to capitalize.
What's been working out for Gallerist though in the Search and Destroy with these 5v5 fights, and that's what they're going to have to force here to try and find themselves around. They're down 4, now 5 lives in total. Can they manage to find a way through? Lucasjin will find one, Pabzera will find another. They've got to try and be flawless. They cannot. Cartels find something, and it should be the round for Luminosity unless 2 players from Gallerist can do the impossible. Not going to happen. Luminosity giving some life here in this series. 2 to the good now. But Gallerist, it feels like maybe we're overconfident in some of their play, especially in round number 1. But round number 2 was a little bit of a fumble.
It's just uncharacteristically individual, is what I describe it as right now. Gallerist, I think, that they try it twice in the same round. A spawn trap where they don't have anybody on the follow-up. I mean, even if you're successful, it's not going to work. Regardless, Luminosity have everything going for them now, and there's this round. The amount of utility on side is insatiable. Predator missile down to keep Gallerist inside while the path is opened up over towards B. I mean, they've got so many options to start this round out. And Pabzera, I mean, no choice but kind of blindly fire these War Machine pellets down range. We'll find one, but LG, I mean, they're still in the conversation for a B cap.
They're going to try and get a little bit of control. Kings does but the shots are fantastic with the Odin. Posted up with that. It's a dangerous prospect for the side of Gallerist. We'll find something over towards Lab, so Mihawk could potentially cause some issue, but Luminosity, as soon as they got a hold of it, they haven't let it go, and Raph now just trying to press the issue if he can as well. They want to secure B, they want to secure this map. It's looking more and more likely as time is going on. B is lost, you got A locked down here with Raph as well. This game may well be done before it's even started.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? LG are investing everything to get this one done and dusted. A in control for them. Cartels now looking to keep these guys away. I don't even know if Gallerist can touch this point in time. Henry Cat really does feel like the only coat in behind enemy lines. He's going to get cut down. Gallerist no choice but to go through the smallest of choke points to keep this game alive. Facing down the Annihilator from Kings and all the bullets and weapons of LG. Kings with a double, that should surely be it, and it will. LG keeping this series alive. Arsenal control is theirs.
After looking flawless in their regular season, they bring it to the world stage as well. Arsenal control gets them a lifeline in this series. And something to talk about for the Gallerist coaching team and players. All right, we thought we had this one done and dusted, and that's what it felt like in round number 1. But they came out the gate, they found 5 or 6 kills straight from that. But that was the only note, really, from Gallerist throughout the entirety of the map. Other than that, it was all LG. It just got down to business, got the job done. And a series is something we now have on our hands, Brody, because it wasn't feeling like that after the first 2 maps.
Yeah, it is a lot better, I think, now for LG, and I got to imagine for them, I think they were kind of feeling a lot better just even seeing this in the veto process, seeing this in the map set once that process was done. That being said, look, I'm giving Gallerist a little bit of stick here for messing up the spawn trap, because of course that's one of the ways in which, you kind of have to play Arsenal, you have to play around the spawn mechanics on this map mode combination. I got to give LG a bit of props, actually, because even though Gallerist did mess it up and kind of open the door for LG to capitalize, in those situations, LG were very quick to deal with it. They were like, all right, look, someone is trying to flank us here. They might have an operator. Let's get them out before they can cause some problems. And they did that without taking the players from the key positions out of those positions, right? Raph consistently stayed in that cut, making sure nobody made their way through the middle of the map. I think that's really impressive team play coming out from LG, right decision making, and I think it's the thing that ends up winning them the map.
And it felt like the catalyst for that was Raph, right? Over the entirety with the shotgun. And we see it from the first player through Vent. We've seen one player push towards him. All right, okay, he's been dealt with a shotgun. And then another just sprinting in there with fists up, expecting to be able to do something. And I want to say it was arguably cockiness from the side of Gallerist to a certain degree at the start of that. But, I mean, who can blame them after the first 2 maps, I suppose? But you get caught lacking just a little bit if you're Gallerist, and Luminosity throw themselves back into the conversation of this series. Round number 4 is going to be coming up in just a second. And we're going to be going over, I believe at least, to a Luminosity hardpoint here. They've got to be feeling good heading into map number 4. And then that would force, obviously, a map number 5, which would be Gallerus' search and destroy pick in Kurahana. But again, for all that I did mention that Gallerus will remain confident in this series, whatever happens. Even if they have to go to a last map, they know they have it within them to dominate that search and destroy. It's all very well saying that, but how they would feel on the main stage is something different entirely.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different up there, ultimately, right? But still, I mean, for these guys, they're going to be feeling so happy on the main stage, right? I mean, LG, they're finally in the series now. They've got some momentum in their favor. They didn't just win that map, but they did so convincingly, and I think they can kind of now be feeling a lot more relaxed. As you said, you now going into a map which is yours. Hacienda Hardpoint is a strong map for Luminosity. It is their best hardpoint map from Season 5 of the Snapdragon Pro series. So we are potentially looking at, obviously, you know, given the fact that Luminosity have just won their control in Arsenal, a situation where we might go to a Game 5. Our first Game 5 of the day here in the quarterfinals. It would be awesome to see, but for LG, again, this is a totally different beast here in Gallerus.
Well, let's see if Gallerus can repurpose themselves after what was a dominant win for LG in map number 3. We have a quick break coming up before map number 4. We'll see on the other side.
All right, Beef Mommy here with Luminosity Gaming, North America's #1 team going into the World Championship. Again, how are you guys feeling going into Atlanta? Let's start with you, Cartels.
I'm excited to play, you know, especially Elevate and X-Walk that made it here.
You already name dropped a lot of teams then.
I didn't get to play them yet like that, so, you know, I'm excited to play those teams.
That's cool. How about you, Kings?
I'm neutral. No, just going in it, confident.
Simple. Jez?
Yeah, more excited than last year because I didn't play at all.
Oh, yeah. You getting ready for your redemption arc for this year?
Yeah, you can say something like that. Yeah. Stop laughing.
I'm feeling great. You know, we're really excited. We've been grinding. We're the #1 team in NA for a reason. So we're going in guns blazing. We're going to go. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
S-Thug.
I'm pretty excited to play all the teams overall, and it gives it like another opportunity to show yourself.
Of course. What do you think sets LG apart from the other NA teams?
You got me thinking now.
Oh, yeah?
I got it.
Oh, okay.
Simple.
You got it.
It's simple as this. You know, stage 4 MVP from last year, this guy is a prodigy, I'll be honest. In my honest opinion, the best AR in North America right here. Jez, 2022 World Champion for a reason. And we got my boy S-Thug, probably the most talented, best player of all time in NA. I know it's a big take, but I genuinely think he is like one of the best of all time. And you got me, AO Raf, the best shotgun player in North America. I can definitely claim that. I think something that really makes us great is that, jokes aside, all 5 of these players, myself included, have something to prove, you know what I mean, going into champ. So
what pushes you forward, like as a team or as an individual?
My mom, before, she did not want me to play at all, wanted me to go to school and stuff. I had to have, like, Sylvia, like, Team Mayhem, like, see, I'll talk to my mom to let me play and stuff, so she kind of helped out on that. Now my mom, like, supports it, so I just want to make my mom proud and stuff.
Pretty much the same thing, you know, want to prove to myself that, you know, win a ring, supporters too as well, so, you know, got something big to live up to.
Last year I didn't play stage 5, so, and being that 2022 I got a ring, I want to be the first to get 2.
Proof as a team that we can be the first team to win again.
individually, I've been doubted a lot as a player, so that's one thing that motivates me. But even sometimes when I'm down, I look at these guys. Every single player here, myself included, is really hungry. So we're coming in with flames. This will be the best COD Mobile Championship we've ever had, period, to date. So make sure you tune in.
Well, Raf said it himself, they have something to prove. They have themselves now a series that they can potentially come back in here in Atlanta. Welcome back to the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships 2024. Hell of a game on our hands here between Luminosity and Gallerus. But thank you to our partners across the board, and especially to DHL. Chance to win €5,000. Follow that link, esl.gg/EFFI. Hey, I've got my phone with me. I'm like, in there.
Yeah, I'd love it, mate. €5,000. You could do a lot of €5,000. You could buy, like, I don't know, 5,000 Freddos or something like that, isn't it?
I think they're probably more than €1 these days.
They probably are,
This is going so far over the Americans' heads, I'm not going to lie. But back to the conversation at hand. LG back into this game.
Yep.
But do we believe that this map number 4 could go their way? Based on maps 1 and 2, what we've seen from Gallerus was very, very strong. But that confidence now for LG is going to be there. They know we'll have a chance in this series.
Yeah, I think, you know, the difference maker for me now is that we are going into a map that LG would want to play in Hacienda, right? So they will be very comfortable here. This is where your ARs are going to show up to the game. And you heard the call, right? I mean, Kings and S-Thug, two of the best ARs in North America, right? Rafa's got a lot of confidence in his team. Of course, Cartel's also, I mean, he showed up in that last game as top fragger for the roster. He always shows up in these situations, in these clutch-up situations. So I feel like, genuinely, I know we said 3-0 to begin with, but now, of course, you know, we have the map set in front of us. We have an LG that feels fired up here. I feel like this might well go all the distance to a Game 5.
In the pit of my stomach, I'm with you on that, actually, because it just feels like it's such a flip. It's so many times, I mean, over just Call of Duty Esports, full stop. That third map in game mode, wherever it is, over the airs, domination comes to the flag, control, whatever. It always feels like it can be a bit of a swing. If a team dominates in the way that Galoris did over maps 1 and 2, a control all of a sudden happens, you lose that one. Yep. The doubt creeps in. Are Galoris mentally strong enough to be able to deal with what is now going to be a very difficult map number 4? Because if LG find this one, yes, okay, they have a very tough map number 5 coming up if that is the case. But the confidence will be on one side of the stage. And, well, for me, it's the left-hand side. I'm not sure which way you guys are seeing it at home, but that's where it will feel. Luminosity.
I just had to do my left and rights there for a second. Sometimes it's confusing, you know. But yeah, Luminosity will definitely have a lot of momentum on their side. Let's take a look then at map number 1 highlights. A reminder of what happened if you're just joining us. In the first hardpoint of the series, we were talking about Galoris. I think, you know, over the course of yesterday, we're kind of slow starting in hardpoint. And then later on during the games, that's when they kind of kicked things off. This was definitely not the case. Right from frame 1, Galoris started strong.
It's a fantastic performance from them. If they can bring this kind of level to map number 4, all of a sudden that Luminosity confidence will be dealt with. But I mean, it was a really convincing hardpoint, and that had been the issue for Galoris all day yesterday throughout the Swiss. Hardpoint was severely lacking. I tell you what wasn't, their search and destroy, still flawless after map number 2 between these two teams. That just went so one-sided in Galoris' direction so quickly.
Yeah, I think that the key differentiating factor here is, again, you know, Luminosity on this map mode combination. When we saw them during the Season 5 of the Snapdragon Pro Series, I mean, they were so aggressive. They were constantly successful at getting Rafa in those positions where they could unsettle the other team. Galoris never let that happen. On the flip side of the situation, you had players like Mihawk being so annoying, Fokke being so annoying, just constantly getting under their skin and finding routes that would frustrate them. So Galoris here taking that search and destroy.
It was a fantastic performance from Galoris on that map in particular, but they're going to have to bring something else to the table here in map number 4, because map 3 was not great. Luminosity will be trying to eat into that confidence now, trying to use it to enable them to force that map number 5. Whatever happens in this series, I'm sure this map is going to be an absolute banger one way or another. We should be jumping in momentarily, but I think for Hacienda, talk to me about both these two teams and how we feel about this map specifically. I know you mentioned already LG, you feel probably confident on it, that's why they picked it.
Right.
But how do you feel about Galoris' chances on this map in particular?
You know, I'm so glad you asked, Tom, because we did actually see them yesterday on this map mode combination against Godlike, and this is, I think, partially where our kind of talking points about a slow start comes from, because when they were playing Godlike on this map mode combination, they kind of, what was it, I think it was a 90-point disadvantage or something ridiculous like that. Like, Godlike started so strong. Actually, towards the end of the game, they almost brought it back. It came down to a 14-point game in the end. Godlike, I believe, were able to finish things off on P4. But nonetheless, I mean, Galoris are capable in this map. I think if they do start the way they did on map number 1, LG might not like the Galoris that they see. But, I mean, again, it's just a question of, are we going to get that Galoris that we saw yesterday, or are we going to get Galoris we saw in map 1?
Well, both these two teams still alive in this bracket. Stalwart and Godlike have been dealt with. Hearts out, we did have to just remind everyone by getting that little scratch through that there. Thank you to Uling for kind of doing his job. He's too nice of a guy. I would have been staring him in the eyes whilst I crossed his name out on the bracket.
I feel like if Q9 get all the way towards the grand finals and they're our eventual champions, there's just going to be a ton of hearts on the board. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland or something on our bracket. You'll know that Uling's been there, that's for sure. But yeah, he's a really nice guy, of course. It's actually funny you say that, right? Because do you remember Mobile Masters, right? When he actually won, of course, with Q9, they beat Galoris. I think it was like something 4-0, 4-1 in the grand finals, right? And you know, part of his his victory speech, he literally spent saying how good of a player Lucasin is. I mean, honestly, obviously a lot of the conversation was about Lucasin and Uling, who are the best players, but just the fact that Uling spent time of his victory speech to say, Lucasin's an amazing player. I've got so much respect. I learned so much from him. I mean, it goes to show, A, how wonderful a player Uling is. It's a rare breed for sure. And then B, how brilliant of a player Lucasin is.
I think we need more personalities like Uling on the broadcast team. People would be nicer to me, actually, if anything. You know,
to you?
To me, mate. Yeah. No,
wow.
You deserve everything you get. Let's not get it twisted.
That's fair.
We need more nice people in and amongst the scene. I'm sure there are plenty of you nice people at home. Hey, get yourself involved and see who. If you can have a bit of a nice off with Uling, but I mean, you're not winning this level of. No, you're not winning. You're not winning at all. But let's see who's going to be joining Uling and Q9 in tomorrow's festivities. In the map before we go, we may well not decide that between these two teams in this one. If Luminosity can force a map number 5. But Gallerus, can you close it out? It was a good performance from them in the hard point in map number 1, but can you find 2 when you struggled all week long to do so? I'm not too sure. Luminosity will have the bit between their teeth here, Brody.
Yep, Luminosity have to start strong here on Hassie and a hard point. Again, it's a very strong map mode combination for them and all the way back towards Season 5 of SBS. So, they'll be feeling confident for the moment, though. Not in control over this time. P1 is always a mixy one, and I think for both of these two teams, they're going to have that kind of rotation towards P2 in the back of the mind. That's why you're seeing Luminosity back up just a little bit, making sure that nobody from Gallerus has kind of gone through.
All about the rotation, though. That's going to be coming in pretty shortly. I'm just curious to see how some of these opening gunfights are going to go. Very even across the board from both these two teams. It's one of those that if Luminosity came out the gate screaming, you worry for Gallerus, but they're picking up some good free time here. Rotation over towards P2s, kind of 50-50 as well. Luminosity with a nice stop.
Yep. Luminosity actually winning some of the fights as well. I was a little bit concerned that they've let too many Gallerus players already in towards Lamborghini. But they're doing well to take them out. Raph goes through the smoke. Shot's not good. Lucasin will survive that fight on his own only momentarily. A couple of players now. Jez and S-Thug looking to push through. Mihawk able to double up. Jez will get the car bomb onto one player, but the rest of those gunfights going in Gallerus' favor. Now they've got the back spawns as well, but Luminosity, they're trying to fight for it.
Lucas trying to stay alive as long as he can. Does get taken down by Jez, so that may well give Luminosity just a little bit of a toehold. Over towards this hill, if they can even get anywhere near it. Gallerus right now are just about keeping them at bay. Operator's going to start coming into play pretty shortly. Raph has done so well to find something there, though. S-Thug is the only one who can kind of combine with him, but into the point they go. S-Thug just does it all on his own. Him and Raph getting the job done. Break comes through from Luminosity off the back. Some crazy play from S-Thug.
Yeah, and you're already forcing out the utility from Gallerus here. You know, Mihawk earned a Predator missile early on. He knows how important this time is, so he's going to bring that one down to keep Luminosity out of the hard point. Even that is not enough. Still, a couple of players hanging around here. Fokke over the top will get shut down, not able to connect with the R9. So LG will get that scrap time. And actually, to be fair, they might have a good look at the rotation as well. S-Thug has snuck through. He's getting some shots in towards Mihawk. Mihawk trying to play his life. That's not going to happen. And if S-Thug can find even more here, this is going to do more than just cause some problems for Gallerus. It's going to turn their attention away from the rest of LG.
Well, eventually, they do take him down, but it actually took the Sparrow to get rid of him from Henricat. All of a sudden, this rotation that was looking good for Gallerus is no longer. Luminosity have come through the front door. S-Thug has come back with his own Sparrow and said, yeah, okay, I can do this too. And here come the rest of the operators now. Cartel starting to ring out the War Machine over towards the fence's side. Kills over towards the back, though, coming in from Lucasin. A potential pinch being set up here by the side of Gallerus.
Gallerus still trying it, but they just can't get past the ARs. You talked about it, right? The ARs being this massive thing for LG. Now Pabzera inside with the War Machine, though. Wants to get some serious value with it. Not a lot connecting, but Raph's R9, or Raph's Equalizer, excuse me, will. Pabzera now fighting back with a War Machine of his own. Still alive in the situation. Panic drone going out for a 1. Gallerus know how important even this 10 seconds is. Even if it's just a contest, you take it all day long. Luminosity now looking for it. They will have a clean look at this next rotation.
Cartels has done so well. This final 5 seconds, he's contested every single one of them. And that's forced the rest of Luminosity. Well, okay, they've had the time. They've had the momentum to be able to push over towards this next hill, whereas the rest of Gallerus are just trying to deal with one player. Luminosity get themselves set up here over towards the Rock Hill, and they will manage to pick up the first few kills, the first few points, 10 seconds their way, but Lucasin is here, and he's got a big old gun. Annihilator is out from him. He's trying to do it all for his team. Fokke is there to follow up Lucasin with a third. Breaks it wide open, pretty much all on his own.
Yep, Lucasin going to create some space here for Gallerus. Kings now wants to do exactly what Lucasin just did to him. Mihawk on the other side, keeping the rest of the reinforcements away. Mihawk is able to completely burn through the entirety of the Luminosity roster. That's 3 in a row for him. And Kings, despite having this Annihilator, hasn't really had a chance to activate with it and isn't even going to get a single kill with it. Gallerus are just overwhelming Luminosity here. They're getting so much time on this hard point, and they're about to take the lead.
It felt like Kings was waiting for something to fall into his lap, whereas Lucasin was the one being proactive with that Annihilator. Finds 3 out of absolutely nothing, and then the kill feed is looking in one direction and one direction only. Brilliant hold from Gallerus, but it only gives them an ever so slight lead heading into the second rotation. But that could be influential. Luminosity were looking good for the setup, and they got blown apart.
This has been a close hard point thus far. We promised you guys a banger here. It's Luminosity looking to extend this series to 5. Now I want to try and take the lead once again. P1, mixy as ever. Pabzera trying to garner some kind of control of this top side. The ARs for Gallerus are going to want to step it up a notch if they do want the map control around here. LG, look, they're going to be in here for the moment. Still trying to fight for this time. S-Thug again is looking for that topside control. It gives you just so much control over the middle of the hard point, but Lucasin able to find his way through for at least one. Being so frustrating, and all of these kills here for Gallerus means they flip the map in their favor.
We've seen over towards P2. It was pretty mixy between the squads. It was a big play needed from Luminosity to actually find themselves back in control of that point. Can S-Thug and Co continue to find these plays? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like they're relying on the big moments so far throughout this game. Gallerus found one of their own and found nearly a full 60. Now the rotation over towards P2. That hill's going to be popping in about 6 seconds' time. Gallerus have the opportunity to set themselves up. They can lay down the land. They know exactly where LG are coming from. That kill tells you that exactly. Cartels can find one with his War Machine. Isn't going to find a whole lot else. Kings finds a couple though. Luminosity threatening.
Yeah, you need to find something here. Cartel's actually looking for a flanking player here. That's created some space for the rest of the team to find their way through. Gallerus now forced in towards using their stuff. Pabzera fight 4. Hello, welcome to the fight, Pabzera. Gallerus now, full investment here to take this time away. Luminosity split spawns round the back line. Looking to try and take it away from Gallerus. Fokke recognizes the urgency to push out of the hard point. Will only be able to find one, but Gallerus still in for the moment.
Right play coming in from Fokke there. I mean, he has to push out one end of things, doesn't he? Becomes very, very difficult when you're dealing with players coming in from a couple of different angles. Lucasin can only find one with his Annihilator. It felt like he only had that about 2 seconds ago, but Gallerus will be the ones who pick up the majority of the time here. Trying to actually solidify something over towards the scrap time. Raph is just holding it down all on his own with the equalizers. Making 3, not going to find the 4th. But he is going to stop Gallerus picking up the majority of that time. That, what, 10, 15 seconds? That's a 30-point swing potentially to the deterrent of Luminosity, but because Raph finds those moments, he finds that equalizer kill, it shuts that down. Now they have the rotation as well over towards Fences. They had a lot of luck here last time. Let's see if they can do it again.
Yeah, this is the key one, right? This is the one where Fences is always messy. To get a lot of time off this hill would be miraculous, and Luminosity know it. Still going to invest in for it regardless. Jez will only actually find one there with the claw, but fortunately enough, the rest of the team here are still in the hard point to contest. Gallerus players in behind though. Keep an eye on Fokke, looking to cause some carnage. He's going to get cut short now for Gallerus. This is a one-dimensional attack from the front.
Let's see if they can find a way through. Lucasin is the tip of the spear, and Mihawk is behind you as well with a knife in the back. Kings will be the only one who's able to find anything back, so Gallerus will get some control for around 20 more seconds potentially. Loving invested by a couple of the players here. Operators across the board. Fokke will find another one. Lucasin behind him. Fokke looking for the third. Raph though will find 2 of his own. Find it tooth and nail for this one over towards Fences. If you are Luminosity Gaming, can you manage to find a way through? Yes, you can. Worse to contest, but last time around we've seen it. They did get the rotation over towards P4. They didn't do anything with it. This time around they have got bodies over there. They have to hold this down.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. The Annihilator last time around from Lucasin was the problem. This time around he doesn't have one just yet. Predator Missile will be down, so now they know where these players are located. Kings, Annihilator, inside the hard point this time around. How much can you actually find? Gallerus are coming all from this one direction here. They're facing down both the Annihilator and the War Machine from Cartels, and Cartels reads Mihawk perfectly and will find Lucasin as well. Luminosity off back, great utilization of the operators, will hold the early time.
Yeah, Gallerus is going to be getting hold of their own very, very shortly though. You would like to think perfect usage. You are absolutely right. So efficient from Cartels and Co. Gallerus are going to be in a position where they can do the same themselves. They're currently inside the hard point, 24 seconds to go. S-Dog, though, he's got a Sparrow of his own, finds a couple more. It just seems as if every single operator has been brought out here by Luminosity has been great, but Foki trying to do the same with the equalizer. Can only find 2. Back and forth, nobody really gaining any sort of control.
Foki would have found that 4th kill there. I know that's a lot to ask for any player with the equalizers, but still, was not good enough. Luminosity still holding on for this one. Miko, can he get anything done with the Purifiers? No, Raph on the other side. Miko's still alive, by the way, with that Purifier. He's looking for the players to go through the middle of the map. He's not able to find anything whatsoever. So as we go into the third set, excuse me, here, Luminosity just a few points in the lead over Gallerus. Henry Cap picking up 3 kills, though. That's going to give them a lot of breathing room.
Oh, they're going to have so much time to now set themselves up over towards P1. And we do see teams pick up decent chunks of time on this Fountain Hill. And that's going to give Gallerus the initiation to be able to do that. Setting themselves up, still continue to find the kills. Luminosity maybe need to take a step back. We've got a dead even game. And it feels like Gallerus are probably going to have a lot of operators available here. You can see already Henry Cat has the Sparrow out, trying to do what he can with it too. Also available for Lucas Jean and Pabzera. Raph does have something available for probably the rotation over towards P2 in just a second. But it feels like both these two teams, they're trading back and forth when the operators are available. Right now, it's Gallerus' turn.
I don't know if Gallerus will want to utilize them here with 10 seconds left, right? I think you want to try and keep those ones for this next rotation. You currently don't have control of it. Big kill from Miko on towards one player. Rogue Spawn coming through there from Cartels. It's going to give them an opportunity here to get inside the hard point. Jez will win the crucial one-on-one as well. And with those spawns now going Luminosity's way here, they've got an opportunity to hold. They're 9 points down at this point in time. Here come the operators.
The operators are out, but they have a pinch being potentially set up here if you're Gallerus. Jez can find 2 with the claw. Here comes Raph as a little bit of backup. We press from 2 different sides here, water and of course from the car park. Up the ramp we go. If you're Pabzera, you start to fire into the smoke and see where you can hit, and absolutely everything is the answer. Finds 3 on his own, and not much left available here from the side of Luminosity. Lucasin now bringing out the Annihilator as well. 200 points is beckoning for Gallerus.
Yeah, and you can find this one from the front as well. Fortunately, though, Luminosity do manage to get 1 player through. That has to be the savior here, while Gallerus just firing all of this downrange. Predator missile now coming down from Henry Cat as well. Cartel looking to just fire those pellets through the smoke as well. If they can do it, why can't I? Big plays from Cartels as he gets through for the back 15 seconds. LG wanted this time.
Gallerus walking away with their tail between their legs. It felt as if they were holding that one down so well, but it's going to be Luminosity with an ever so slight lead by the time we get over towards the fences. Both teams to take a breath, take a moment. We're getting to the nitty-gritty of this map, and both these teams so evenly matched. P3 really has been a bit of a mixy one. It's going to be Gallerus, the first one's there, but Luminosity trying to find a way through from the other side. Can only find 1 in the back of Cartels. Lucas found 1 of his own. Operator's going to start coming in as well. You can already see it's the Sparrow from S-Dog. Finds 1, but Foki shuts that one down, and now he comes out with the equalizers as well. Foki now holding it down entirely on his own. They got 1 player on the flank, but everybody coming this way.
Yeah, and as long as they have a player back towards Spencer's side, you can read these spawns perfectly. You know where Luminosity are going to be coming from, and Foki's just going to sit in a corner, and they're going to run right into him. Foki picking up all of these kills. Gallerus soaking up all of this time. This is normally a mixy hardpoint ton, and Gallerus is so certain of it. They're so happy with the time they're getting.
The operator usage has been almost perfect from the side of Gallerus. They're now finding themselves around 25 seconds away, but Rat finds 2 out of absolutely nothing. He's pulled that from thin air, and Foki answers back with 3, now 4, making it a 5th in a row from Foki, bringing it down with the shotgun, and that might be another nail in the coffin of Luminosity Gaming. Gallerus taking over when they need to.
Yeah, but they're not finishing things here regardless of what happens, but they've put a serious dent in Luminosity's hopes and dreams. Rotational battles are paramount here, and Luminosity have put so much into the scrap time. Fortunately enough, though, they are going to win the gunfights over by Nu, but it's far from done yet. Gallerus, they're on their way.
That breather that everybody needs, that the team needs to happen now for Luminosity, and they need to take these deep breaths, and they need to lock this one down, because Gallerus are finding themselves 16 seconds away from sending themselves to a Sunday. Lucas is there with Pabzera. These 2 players have been the catalyst for this side of Gallerus time and time again. Mihawk is the only one who can find something, but he's got a flamethrower inside of the point, so you want to be careful if you're entering. They are going to get in, and Luminosity looking to try and find a break. They've got 1 more player to deal with. They do that just about in time. Gallerus have found a way back, though. They're not far away, but Luminosity in control and finding the kills.
Yeah, Cartel's going to bring out the war machine as well. Through the smoke, doesn't matter. Just going to fire those pellets down just for safety. LG can't finish things here regardless, but you want to keep this time out of Gallerus's glass. Here we go. Raph on the other side. Look at the kills with the R9. How many LG players can you take down, Raph? Goodness me. A couple more. Pabs are on the other side, though. Looking looking to get it done. Gallerus now still looking for this time, but neither team can finish it here.
Oh my goodness me, we are going to be coming into this final potential hill with the team separated by absolutely nothing. S-Dog's brought out the Sparrow, and that's going to give the onus over towards Luminosity Gaming. They are 12 seconds away. Gallerus, the only 13. In terms of operators, not a whole lot available, but let's go over towards Fountain, see how things go down.
Smoke's going down here. Both teams trying to use it to get in towards the hard point here. Who can get it done? Who's got the top side coverage for the help as well? It's LG in the kill feed. They want to finish it.
Let's see if Gallerus can find a way back through, because Luminosity have suddenly found the break. They are 5 seconds away from sending us to a map number 5. 2 seconds now for Luminosity. Gallerus trying to get themselves back in. Lukashin can find 2, but can he find any more? Luminosity still in control, but Lukashin, he's found a way through.
He's got the Annihilator. Lucasin gonna get cut down though. Cartels with the kill. Gallerus trying to hold on for their lives. Fokke with the kill. LG still looking for the 250th point.
Can he hold it down? Mihawk's all alone inside of the smoke, just trying to go back and forth between these two teams. Mihawk's still alive. Mihawk's still ongoing.
Wow.
240 or so broken. Luminosity get wiped out. The Sparrow's brought in. Gallerus can still win it here.
They can still get it done. LG, you've got to get in for the contestant. You've got to think about rotation as well. Gallerus looking for the kills to get the 250th point. Gallerus send LG home. North America is done. And Latin America goes marching on to Championship Sunday.
My goodness me. What a map. It's a 1-point game win for Gallerus. Luminosity, we're a breath away from sending us to a map number 5. What an end to this series. And what has been the best series of the day so far. My goodness me. It just felt like it was just utter chaos throughout that final hill. It was back and forth between us. I didn't know when it was going to end. You didn't know when it was going to. Nobody did. It came down to some final moments that we're going to have to see again.
It's just constant. Gallerus just constantly got another play. I think it was Mihawk, right? He managed to get in towards the kill there, towards the Ken to keep the game alive. I got to see that again. I got to see what kind of crazy plays we just saw. How on earth did that just happen?
I mean, I was hoping that we would get some sort of an insane hard point at some point. I didn't think it was going to be now between LG and Gallerus. That was incredible on behalf of Gallerus to be able to stop them at the 249 mark and then also have that comeback. That was incredibly disciplined play.
I mean, like, there's so much to think about in that moment, right?
Let's have a look, because Luminosity got themselves to that point from P1. Lukashin finds something, but it's such a contest-heavy hill. So to end it on this hill in particular is always just so chaotic. It's so hard to decipher which way things are really going to go for both the two teams and everybody at home. But it was just a case of trade for trade. But when Henry Cat finds those couple of kills with the Sparrow, that's the difference maker. How often did we talk about throughout the game the operator usage being the real big difference? And then the difference was made there towards the end. Those 2 from Henry Cat, you can find a 3rd with it as well. And what it means to those Gallerus players, their hardpoint, frankly, has sucked over this tournament so far. But for them to find 2 maps like that, it truly puts them into the conversation. For a map like that as well, gives you so much momentum heading into the semifinals.
And I know we've been talking a lot about Gallerus on the whole, right? Everybody has been doing their part, not just today, but over the course of yesterday as well. I think now is the time to talk about Lucasin. 52 kills with over 90 seconds inside the hard point. This is why Lucasin is considered one of the best players in the world.
And you saw the reactions on behalf of the entire team right there at the end when they were able to clutch that up. You can tell just how much this means for the team, not only to get the win, but continue on in the competition. They're now officially going to be top 4 in the world. They've made their way through out of quarters into semifinals, live to see another day. They get to watch the rest of the competition and reassess how they're going to attack tomorrow now. You've said, everyone's been saying it a couple times. They started off potentially as an underdog. Every time we watch them play, they get a little bit better every single time, push themselves further into the conversation.
Yeah, honestly, I know we've been talking a lot about China as like the region to be feared, right? And I still think that's the case, right? Obviously, we've got Elevate versus Wolves. The winner of that matchup will be facing Gallerus tomorrow in the semi-final. Honestly, I would not be sure that either of those teams would take it versus Gallerus.
All right, well, I want to hear from the players, especially after a match like that. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we have Beef Mommy standing by with Lucas and Mihawk ready to chat.
I'm here with Galoris, Mihawk, and also Lucasin. Let's start with you first, though, Lucasin. #1 player right now, especially for this tournament. You've been at the line of 50s this entire time when it comes to the kill count. How does it feel to finally be here and move on to the grand finals?
Como é que você se sente estando aqui finalmente, ganhando tudo que você fez? Como que você se sentiu durante todo esse jogo?
Olha, esse jogo foi sensacional. O que a gente foi da metade pro fim da partida foi insano. Nosso time foi absurdo e, cara, eu tô sem palavras até agora. Eu não entendi muito bem o que aconteceu. Só que, graças a Deus, conseguimos sair com a vitória e, finalmente no top 4. Depois de tanto tempo, representar o Brasil desse jeito, com essa seleção absurda, é um sonho.
This was a great game. I'm still speechless. I didn't know what happened yet, but we're very proud of what happened, and we're very proud about all our team.
For sure, a really good representative for the Western side. But let me talk to a teammate that has been so integral in this hardpoint matchup. 1 point to send LG home. Mihawk, you stood there in Fountain, inside of the smoke, by the way, littered with LG squads, with operators up and running. How did you pull that off? 1 point.
O último lance ali da partida, você ficou por 1 ponto somente, ficou ali dentro da fonte, ali durante da smoke. Foi incrível. Conta pra gente como é que foi esse último round.
Cara, sinceramente, nem eu tô entendendo o que aconteceu, só esbombuquei meu pé e fiquei comprando tempo pro time. Acho que uma qualidade nossa do nosso time é que a gente se mantém calmo em qualquer momento, então na hora a gente já estava se organizando, onde que eles iam vir, então eu consegui me organizar muito bem ali com a equipe. E foi isso, cara, sinceramente, nem sei o que aconteceu, só Deus estava do nosso lado e foi isso.
Yeah, I still don't know what happened yet. The only thing that we prepared to stay there, it didn't matter from where they were coming. I knew that I was prepared to help the team.
Beautiful stuff. I'm pretty sure both of you guys are still hot from the matchup, pretty much on autopilot at this point. But you know what? Last question. What do you say to your supporters here going on to the grand finals?
O que vocês querem dizer para os fãs de vocês que vocês estão agora nas finais?
Olha, espero que vocês continuem apoiando a gente consegue sentir toda essa energia. É sensacional estar aqui representando mais uma vez o Brasil e continue apoiando, que se Deus quiser, coisas melhores vão vir e vai ser totalmente diferente igual foi os últimos anos.
We want to keep feeling the energy of you. We thank you very much for the support, and we will give our best.
And I don't think we need a translator for this one. Boys, you deserve it. Here we go. Galleries, the only Western representing going into the grand finals, but we have one more matchup coming up next. The East, you're in the magnifying glass. Next up, we have Elevate versus Wolves. You wouldn't want to miss this.
Pô, rapaziada, vamos amassar os caras, Henrique.
Vamos amassar, meu amigo.
Vamos amassar. É isso, mano. Amassa os caras, bora. Fechou. É isso. Bora, fechou? Fechou. É isso, mano. Amassa os caras. Fechou? Amassa os caras. É isso, chefe. Bora. Vamos, rapaziada. Amassa os caras. Que é galo, rapaz.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
Looking
World Championships. Siefta getting a nice little selfie there after Galaris's incredible hard-point clutch to keep their hopes alive in the competition, moving forward into semifinals. And now we have only one more match left on the day to determine the last team through to the next stage of the competition. The fourth team. That would be the top 4 in the world in Call of Duty Mobile. This is going to be a great match to close everything out because it's going to be between Elevate and Wolves. Elevate being one of our undefeated teams, like we were talking about at the top of show, through that Swiss bracket. So this is a big match for both these squads. Wolves obviously being the defending champs.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're slated to have a banger to close out the day, it might as well be Elevate versus Wolves, two teams that did face off each other not too long ago. This is a reprise of grand finals of CDSI as well, and, well, it just wasn't really that close.
No, it wasn't. It was a 4-0 sweep, and I think I have to eat my shoe on this one because I went out on Twitter and said that there's no way Elevate beats Wolves if they don't properly veto, and they blew them out of the water, so I get my get back. I'm not going to eat my actual shoe, though. That's
Those are nice shoes, man. I didn't see that happen.
I think I could eat them if I had to, though.
We have a whole other day. You're going to need to be able to walk around and talk about Elevate, though. Okay, let's start deep diving these teams. Tell me a little bit about the squad.
Yeah, look, again, like you already said, Elevate, they go through the Swiss bracket undefeated, 3-0. Search and Destroy was probably their weakest. They did finish 1-2, but they did win both controls, naturally speaking. Hardpoint has been a strong suit, to say the least, about Elevate. They put Karina on the map going in towards this entire event, and everybody had a massive target looking at Elevate as a whole. You could pick any one of these 5 players that could pop off at any point in time. Everybody wants to take down Elevate and make sure they know that they are truly number 1.
And that's the thing is, like, this Elevate team wasn't just impressive from a month ago, not even when they were at CDSI, but they also had the most difficult Swiss stage. They had to go through Godlike, Q9, and Stalwart. So all 3 of their games were versus teams that made it to the top 8, and they only dropped Search and Destroys. And in the process, it wasn't just that they dropped a couple of searches, they actually looked really good across all of the respawns, winning with some convincing margins in Hardpoint and a couple of really solid wins in 2 controls that they had played. So they're really knocking, I think, on every single door they need to go back-to-back in terms of championships.
And then, of course, on the flip side, we've mentioned it a couple times, we do have the defending champs in Wolves, but maybe not as strong as we saw them last year, just based off of the level of competition we've seen across the board.
Yeah, I mean, this is a shell of the former name that was your 2023 world champion, of course, but they obviously do have their strengths. That's why they still find themselves here. And to be quite frank with you all at home, they did have a fair shake when it comes down to their matchups, having to go through Galaris, having to beat Luminosity, lost that one 1-2, and then beating Vitality as the final match that we had on the main stage is no easy feat. They went the distance, but nonetheless, they can definitely find a lot of improvements between then and now.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about this Wolves team, you know, kind of looking at China last year, we had 3 squads, 2 of which we really looked at as being like, ooh, could be either of these 2 teams, that being Wolves and Q9. But this year in China, the Wolves squad has been by and far away the worst of the 3. They've only won a single matchup versus their other Chinese counterparts. Then, of course, them getting swept in CDSI had us all looking at the reigning champs saying, are these guys even remotely for real? We saw moments. It just comes down to, can they put the puzzle together here today versus strong Elevate team?
Absolutely, and of all the times to try and get it all figured out, this would be it, because a reminder for everyone at home, if they lose, they are out. Okay, we're in that single elimination bracket stage of the competition, so this will be the last match and the last hope for either one of these teams to continue on and continue competing for the $1 million prize pool, $400,000, the title and the trophy, to whichever team can claim it in our best of 7 grand finals. All right, now we gotta start talking about it. Next piece of the puzzle, we have to talk about this map pool. Who do we think it's gonna benefit? Who do you think could potentially maybe start off a little bit stronger? I'll start with you, Shift.
I think the mind games from CDSI tilt a lot of natural advantage to Elevate because they were able to defeat Wolves on Summit, which was their most played map. That was one that I looked at and said, if you're Elevate, you got to get rid of Summit. I know it's one of your best, but you can't allow Wolves to have their most played map. It's actually Wolves this time who veto out Summit in the process. So we get a Hacienda and an Apocalypse. Both hardpoint maps are great for Elevate, but then we also have the Kurohana in for map number 2, which is also, I think, more beneficial for Elevate. So just basing off of what we have for picks and bans, I think Elevate have a major advantage in this best of 5.
Especially because Hacienda was played in that CDSI Grand Finals. It finished 250 to 189, and albeit a respectable scoreline, you're going to need every bit that makes you a very good team in Wolves to take down Elevate. Whether that's giving them their first hardpoint loss, whether that is taking advantage of their weaker search and destroy that we have seen across the weekend, something has to give. You're going to need to find themselves in championship form early. This has a Grand Finals match written all over it, and we have it here. One team is about to go home.
And all day we've seen some pretty dominant series so far, right? We start off with 2 3-0s. We just finished up a 3-1. So talk to me about how you think this could potentially be playing out for everybody, because are we going to see another dominant performance, or will this be a little bit more even?
I think this is going to be pretty dominant. I think based on the recent results, which was very convincing in favor of Elevate, plus it just doesn't really feel like Wolves are playing at the same caliber as they had last year. I don't know if it's because of the meta swap-ups with the Odin in play. I don't know if it's because their search and destroy just hasn't been as polished as it was last year. Regardless of it, maybe a combination of everything, it does feel like Elevate holds a major edge, which feels so counteractive to what I was trying to say about a week ago or so when they were playing at CDSI.
Let's not forget, especially for Elevate, benefiting from the simple fact that they finished 3 matches and they were gone. To go back and immediately learn from what they had been faltering on all day yesterday is in their search and destroy. So it's going to be a completely different team that we're going to be getting in this series today. I'm alongside with Shift. I think this one's going to be rather dominant.
All right, well, we'll have to see if the other casters agree with you in just a few minutes as well, and we'll ask everybody at home the same question. And we're going to give you some time to think about that, because I have a little bit of an update that I'm being told from production. We're going to run back a clip of what I'm talking about. We have a slight delay, okay? Because when Gallerus won, the desk was punched, and it was punched so hard that it literally broke. We have to replace the desk in order for the competition to continue. So that just shows how much passion, how hyped Gallerus were when they won.
That is one powerful Vamos.
That's mega Giga Vamos.
Giga Vamos.
That's different. I've never, in the amount of COD esports I've watched, have I ever seen an actual desk break. Not in the challengers pits, not in COD mobile pits. This is the first.
I feel like had Beef Mommy known about that, she would have asked about that in the interview. Like that.
I wonder when they found out. Like it surely had to have been when like the second team was finally getting on stage, sitting down. It's like, hey, there seems to be a massive dent in the desk. I don't think that's a feature of this one.
Honestly, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Hopefully they can bring that level of energy tomorrow when they have to play in the semifinals.
Hopefully the hand is okay, most importantly.
Yeah, for
also
real.
Important. Also true. All right, well, while we're letting our team get that desk swapped out, making sure that everything's good to go for the next match, we're going to send it to a quick interview. Elevate, obviously being one of the teams that's playing right now, we got a chance to catch up with them before the event and chat to them about their expectations and who they think is their best competition.
All right, Beef Mommy here, and I'm with the team that elevated everyone's expectations in the World Championship. I'm with Elevate today, Garena's #1 team heading into the World Championship. But before we start into the nitty-gritty, I wanted to say that every single one of you, except for one player, is actually your first time here in the World Championship. Last year, unfortunately, even though everyone expected you to come in as a Garena representative, you didn't make it. So
losing last year was very devastating for me. It really affected me in general. So, but in time, I realized it wasn't for us. So I accepted it, and I realized along the way that the only way to go up is to go down. So right now we're back on the world stage. So we're coming back for everything.
Love that, Susana.
Last year when we lost the game against Stalwart currently, I actually went outside and cried my eyes out. Then when I went back in, Yopi was taking a shower. I heard him crying like really loud, and I was just really sad back then. It was really sad.
Is that true? Were you really crying inside the shower?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. I was crying that night. And you know, it's very unfortunate experience for us that we have to learn from our mistakes, and you see, now we're here representing the Garena.
What do you think makes Garena different from all of the regions in terms of playstyle?
Okay, one word, hardpoint.
Hardpoint.
Okay, well, actually, you know, can you expound as to why hardpoint is the game mode for Garena?
We don't have the patience. We just go running around the place and use our gyroscope.
I mean, that's true. Actually, Garena was one of the first regions to use and utilize the gyroscope.
What separates us from other teams, like particularly us in Garena, is we have a really fast-paced gameplay that I think no other team has actually tried to copy it yet. They're copying it, but they cannot do the original. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, there you go. Confident in the Respawn gameplay. And speaking of, search and destroy is something that is always brought up, especially up against like Chinese teams. How are you able to kind of, I guess, clean up your S&D gameplay? Because you are very confident in your Respawn.
Like Klo said, we have no patience. And I think in S&D, we have to wait for the IGL calls.
All right, thank you so much, Elevate. I really loved your answers. But yeah, that was Elevate Garena's #1 team. Let's see if they're going to clinch the top spot in the World Championship.
Of course, Beef Mommy doing a fantastic job sitting down and hanging out with the Elevate boys. It's always nice to hear from our players before these events, get to kind of pick their brains just a bit on how they think they're doing. Reminder for everybody at home, though, we are currently waiting for a broken desk to be swapped out so that we can continue on to our 4th match, our last match here on the day. But if you're just hanging out and you're waiting with us here locally in Atlanta for DreamHack, while you're waiting for this swap, make sure you're checking out the floor. There's so much cool stuff to do here at DreamHack outside of just esports or gaming related things. And if I'm not mistaken, Proper, you and FDOT had a chance to actually walk around the whole venue and check everything out. So let's see what they did.
What's good and welcome to DreamHack. Call of Duty Mobile World Championship is going on right now. Last year we were here, this year, well, we're back. So it's gonna be a good, this guy's back too, come here. Come here real quick. What's up? I know you're hungry for competition. How's everything going? You ready for this weekend?
I'm definitely ready. We're definitely confident. Oh, what's up? My bad, I didn't mean to be angry. But yeah, we're definitely ready. We're definitely confident. He called me at the wrong time. I'm kind of eating now, so I apologize. But we're definitely ready for stage 5, and hopefully it's a good one.
I love how interview ready he was. I wasn't even like going for that. I just wanted to say hi. So that's the vibes here at DreamHack. Always a good time. We'll catch up with you later, man. See you. We got a couple of other teams going on here. Those are your boys' galleries, right? Yep. Yeah, let's go say hi. Lead the way. You're the man.
Let's go, Lucas. How you doing,
man? Nice to meet you. I'm FDOT. I've been watching for a while.
Oh, thanks so much. How stoked are you to be here for Atlanta, to be able to compete on the world stage again?
Yeah, it's really excited because the last year was probably the most difficult years for me. So this year is going to be so much exciting because they are my family now. So it's be insane to play this again.
It feels a little different from last year this year. Like, check me on this. Maybe I'm wrong. Last year, there feels like there's more energy. Feels like you guys are more familiar with each other. Like everybody's just vibing and having a good time. Is it more familiar this time around?
Yeah, bro. Because the chemistry we came together, so it's really different because that makes us more strong and make more powerful, you know. So that's too much better.
And with the international squads, you like hanging out with like Tribe and everybody else, or is it more just your team?
Yeah, we can do the both things because we are so much together, but we can talk with anyone. So it's good. That's good.
That's the cool stuff, man. Seems like there's a nice little community popping down here.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been back in as far as like the players' lounge is concerned. Is there a ping pong table back there? Are you gonna like smoke all of Q9 and like ping pong back there? Any table games that you're gonna take a lot of money in, or what's up?
Yeah, I really want to try it because I like to play.
There's a ping pong table over there?
I don't know. I haven't been back there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Where's that food at, though? Because that, well, here's the rest of that chicken nugget I took. What the Gotta have the pocket chicken.
Oh my God.
But here's the real food. What up, friends? What's goody? Oh, shit, it's the homies. How's it going? Good to see you.
Take what you can. They're not refilling, so what is
They're
here
not
is here.
Oh, okay.
No, it ended 30 minutes ago, so they're still a good spread.
Char grilled flat iron steak, caramelized shallots, sun-dried cherries, and port wine jus. We also have nothing. And there's plenty of vegetables left. Welcome to Call of Duty Catering. Eat your vegetables. What the What you making over there?
A little bit of mid-medley for the voice.
Why are you so the way you are?
I don't know. I'm classy, though.
I'm in Arnold Palmer like a real man. We have 3 days of competition, plus the 4th of Media Day. We're doing a bunch of interviews. It looks like we're just hanging out because honestly, we sort of are, but like the way the sausage is made, just hanging out with the players and being around, like that actually gives us a lot of insight to take onto the desk.
Yeah, I mean, it's every single bit of narrative that we possibly need. Again, like as small as the little bit of jab for trash talk, as much as it is just watching everybody get along together until they actually face each other on the stage. It's everything you could possibly ask for a day one on media.
I mean, perfect example. Like I was hanging out with the Animus guys before, and like we know they're an all-French team. We know the guys kind of, you know, from online or whatever, but who on that squad is the charismatic dude up front? Who's doing it for, well, Guithera is just talking the majority of the time. He's kind of helping his squad with the translation. He's the guy in the server that's also doing that. You're not going to find that on Wikipedia, but you'll find that by hanging out. And I read a book once about commentary, and they said the most important thing about baseball commentary is showing up for batting practice, just so you can be around the guys, right?
You got to understand their characters. I mean, they're more than just a bunch of competitive, professional Call of Duty mobile players. Like, there's a personality back behind the phone, past the thimbles that they wear on their fingers. Like, there's a whole lot of personality back behind there. And we're going to be seeing a lot of that as the weekend continues to unfold.
Yeah, last year, the guys, I think, started to get a little bit more familiar. This year, you heard us talking to Lucas Jean. Everybody's just friendly now, you know? You see in the tribe guys, like, high-five the European guys, like, man, it's been a while. You know, there's some language barriers with some of the squads, but really everybody's just excited to be here. Real community-based feel, which I think is generally the idea with what we do at DreamHack. Just show up, be a gamer, have a good time, and let it rock, which is exactly what we're doing here in Atlanta, and that's what we're going to be doing all weekend long. We crown a champion on Sunday. Be there.
A little more behind-the-scenes action there from Proper and FDOT. Was it cool getting to just kind of chill with the players during Media Day and just chat with everybody?
It absolutely was. It always is. I mean, you can't capture these players more in their natural habitat than walking around eating chicken tenders.
That's probably very true. And he had, you know, FDOT had them saved, ready to go in his pocket.
Yeah, in his pocket. That's wild.
Just travel food, you know? All right, everybody. We've been letting you know that we're trying to get the desk situation swapped out because of the passion of our amazing Call of Duty mobile players. It's going to take a little bit longer to get it all finalized and done. So we're going to send it to a short break, make sure they get everything swapped and ready to go. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
Since the year 00, we was out to get more. Bunch of really real G's, burning G's till we low. Sitting by 45 like I'm Jordan on the floor. Here we go, against the greatest, what they say my name for. You can get it, hate it, sweat it, I'll be flexing. I'm just riding around my city, bank account and chair model. Sitting pretty, I just had to let them know. I'm unforgettable. I'm unforgettable. Since the year 00, we was out to get more. Bunch of really real G's, burning trees till we low. Sitting by 45 like I'm Jordan on the floor. Here we go, against the greatest, what they say my name for. Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not? We on a path to greatness. We're shooting the shot to make it. So moving the target is aimless. 'Cause we got the power to shape shift. We'll catch the energy waving. We go till our bones are aching. 'Cause the top spot's for the taking. And we on a mission to take it. Are you ready or not? It's about to go off. Turning up on the spot. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. We gon' sit at the top. Give it all we got. Are you ready or not? 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 It's about to go off. Turning up on the spot. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. We gon' sit at the top. Give it all we got. Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not? Are you ready or not?
Darkness outside, that's when I feel alive. Boy, just shut up and drive. We're raising hell tonight. Got my name on your lips. Taste that poison, my kiss. Shiver run down your skin. Sweet, but she got a bite. Think you can control me, baby. Clearly you don't know me at all. Not at all. Boy, you shouldn't listen to the rumors, 'cause they're not even close. You'll be chasing a ghost. I don't care, ain't no stopping me tonight. I don't care, I'm not gonna change my mind. Crossed my car and I lost my friends, but I'm still getting out my head. I don't care, 'cause I was made to be wild. Darkness outside, that's when I feel alive. Boy, just shut up and drive. We're raising hell tonight. Got my name on your lips. Taste that poison, my kiss. Shiver run down your skin. Sweet, but she got a bite. Think you can control me, baby. Clearly you don't know me at all. Not at all. We shouldn't listen to the rumors, 'cause they're not even close. You'll be chasing a ghost. I don't care, ain't no stopping me tonight. I don't care, I'm not gonna change my mind.
Hey guys, Infinity here at DreamHack Atlanta for the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships 2024. We're here for yet another interview, and I have the reigning champions, Wolves Esports, here. What does it feel like to come into champs as the reigning champions? Is there more pressure on you guys coming into this event?
今年感到的压力还是有点大的，因为我们要卫冕冠军嘛，所以说今年肯定要更加努力吧。
Last year, you guys were dominant. You only lost maps to Q9 and Godlike. Do you feel like the field of competition this year is a little bit more competitive?
去年我们输了2小场比赛嘛，然后虽然不是大场嘛，就是每个大场里边中间的一小局吧，输了2场嘛。然后今年就是要更加努力吧，然后去学习一下。今年就是我们每个队的就是实力都提上来了吧。然后我们今年的就是目标肯定还是冠军，然后每个队伍去学习一下。
You guys at CDSI, obviously, you didn't manage to take home first place. You did get pretty high placing in the tournament, though. What have you guys focused on then from CDSI ahead of champs to improve?
在之前 CDSI 间，我们是想办法去创新嘛，然后学习一下别人。经历了就是很长时间了吧，我们也把对方的就是一些新东西吧，也都学到手上了吧。然后这一次世界赛就是使用出来吧。
Is there any one team, this is for all of you, that you guys would love to face here at champs?
我最想遇到的对手还是 Elevate， 因为我觉得这支队伍很厉害，在热点当中吧，还有控制当中，我觉得统治力很强。然后这一次我们要想办法去就是在比赛中获胜吧。
Who would you say is the most underrated team here at this event?
我想一想 ，Godlike。我觉得在这一次，我觉得是 Godlike 被低估了吧？我觉得这支队伍很厉害。
On the other side of that question, then, who would you say is the most overrated team here at the event?
最高是我们自己，
肯定我们自己啊。
And why do you guys think that you guys are the most overrated team here?
因为我觉得就是在今年当中，我们其实就是打的并不是相比之前好嘛。 就是我们今年最主要还是要想办法，就是去做出调整嘛，然后把实力提上来。
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us here. Good luck in the tournament. This was an interview here with Wolves Esports. Catch all the action here from DreamHack Atlanta here at the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships 2024.
Thanks so much for sticking with us, everybody. We are back and prepared to dive into match number 4. Got to hear a little bit of an interview there from Wolves as well. And I think one of the big takeaways was they specifically said that they wanted to play up against Elevate.
Well, I mean, I'm not utterly surprised. You know, before that interview all took place, the last team that they faced on a main stage was, in fact, an Elevate, and they did get slammed out of the tournament 0-4. So I'm not utterly surprised to see that they probably want to get the run back.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about it, as much as X-Rock came in as the #1 seed from China, so that was kind of, for a lot of people, the #1 team coming into this event. Elevate shocked the world by doing what they did at CDSI, so there is this battle of, was X-Rock going to be better? Was Elevate going to be better? Wolves only getting one chance to play Elevate before means that this matchup means a lot more to them, if that's what it feels like.
Well, we're coming back into it, so we're going to take a look again at these maps, talk about them one more time before we dive into the competition, starting things off on the Hacienda Hardpoint.
Yeah, and again, we mentioned this just to kind of reframe it. This is a very exclusively different map pool than when these two teams had played prior, except for map #1. And it was pretty close. I mean, 250, 189, 190-ish. That really just means like one rotation goes your way. You very well could have flipped the scoreboard completely around. So an important one here for Wolves to start off strong and get a little bit of their get back on map #1.
Resource management is obviously everything as well, going back and rewatching that grand finals. But at the same point in time, you heard Wolves also talk about the very good hardpoint and control team are Elevate. You got to try to steal one of those along with the search and destroys.
And then, of course, we're going to go over our predictions one more time. Who do you think is going to be taking this home? What is the number you gave to the series? Will it be quick, or will this one make it full 5?
Yeah, I think Elevate still hold a massive edge overall in the series. I've got it going pretty darn convincingly Elevate's way. After seeing the map picks, I'm even more sure of the fact that this is probably going to be a 3-0.
I got a 3-1. I think the search and destroy might still be taken by Wolves, all things surprising to hear. That search and destroy versus Vitality was very good. If we get that same search and destroy out of Wolves that we saw versus Vitality, that might be a map that they can take.
All right, well, Brody agrees with you with the 3-0 as well, and then Tons on your side with the 3-1. So, well, it's either way, it's going to be a really, really close matchup. If you're at home or you're hanging out with us here, jump in chat, let us know your thoughts. Who's going to be the 4th and final team to make their way through to semifinals, because that is what is on the line right now. Elevate versus Wolves. Will it be one of the other 3-0 teams out of the Swiss, or will it be the defending champions who continue on in this competition? We're moments away away from finding out.
And I'm just hoping we get a Hacienda hardpoint that looks a lot like the last one. 250, 249, sign me up for some of that action. But this is the biggest point. Both teams are defending champions. One, the defending world champion. The other, the most recent champion at CDSI. Only one of the two will make it to Sunday. Let's get it on.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Wolves are definitely aware of what a banger of a Hacienda ending can be. Let's not forget about that map win yesterday versus Team Vitality. 250 to 231 was the last time that they played this map mode combination. But it's a square up to say the least, so we'll have to see who's feeling hot on this day. Excited to see the consistency of Elevate.
Yeah, love the initial focus from Wolves, taking that battle up towards the top windows. Most important part about trying to get good time here on P1, which Wolves have shown that they can absolutely do, and they're starting to show that once again. Battle back though from Elevate, decent, as they're able to clear out the hard point, plus also win some of these window battles. Trying to jump back on in as one moment in time was pegged. That gets shut down, and we've got another 50-50 battle as Wolves will spawn over towards fence side.
It's a good spot to have for yourself in 20 seconds. It allows you to try to hit through the upper hallways and then maybe try to set up somebody inside of Lambo early, but you do have a couple players represented in blue. That is Elevate. Starting to push set upper hallways and already thinking about the rotation towards next at the same point in time. Yep. 19 to 12 is pretty standard when it comes out of P1 on Hacienda, but this rotation is where things might break off.
Yeah, and Elevate do a nice job here, I think, just controlling spawns through the majority of P1. Most importantly, as things start to move, they're spawning over towards well side and taking the quick route through lobby to contest the back spawns for Wolves, plus also try to win them in their own right. So, these in battles, very important. Neon, he has not been as loud as he was last year. Definitely a key player that Wolves needed. He gets shut down over towards the elbow. That's enough for Elevate to lock the spawns and the hard one at the same time.
Yeah, where we haven't really seen much of Neon, Zai has been stepping up in a massive way for Wolves Esports. Already up to 11 eliminations, probably going to be the first on their team. And be able to get one of those operators might not come around until P3, but still hanging around the joint. Still have 30 seconds left to fight over here, and all of the trades are starting to go in the favor of Elevate. They do have a couple more players with some close spawns, but Wolves are maintaining presence over by the rocks.
Yeah, but it's just not enough to actually break on through. Zai is trying to get the claw into play, able to at least eliminate one inside the hard point, but only gets a second one that was at 1 HP, so really not super worthwhile. Kendi, your CDSI MVP, trying to work his way in with the War Machine. Shut down almost immediately, but there is enough damage dealt for Elevate to still work their way on in. Last members defined are on the corner, and as Zai drops, Elevate will at least be able to keep this hard point contested through the last every second, and now a chance for Elevate to try to work their way over towards patio for new.
You just have to make that expense worth it, especially with Zai throwing the claw into what was supposed to be P2. Previous to this, Neon actually pushed all the way over by the well side, and I do love the heads-up play from Kendi just to try to push for the back spawns here at Garden. Is able to get those. That means that Elevator in first.
Fight from the front, though. Rage is on. Yopi, Sparrow out. That's going to be decent. A little trade back and forth as him and King go to battle. And it will be won over by Elevate. Now trying to push forward is Yopi, just trying to put a little bit of a buffer in front of this hard point. Smoke contains the left side. Here comes the hit along the right. Susano, not sure of where he needs to get this claw into play. He's outside the picture, but as he steps into the line read, that's enough for once again Elevate to come with the proximal spawns and win the hard point again.
Susano with his claw, I mean, you are just walking straight into the meat grinder. 18 seconds, you feel like Wolves Esports are starting to get a little desperate on trying to hit for this back 15 seconds. Nobody's even trying to cut the middle of the map for the rotation. They are all aiming for the back 10 seconds, and Elevate still have the back spawns. Yeah. They can keep this contested so much easier than Kendi. With the Hunter Killer Drone, is going to be able to clean up 2 more, and Wolves are just too late to read the room to try to rotate towards new. They are down cataclysmically.
It is just as slow as we've kind of mentioned a couple of different times throughout this weekend. Kendi able to get here first, almost turns that into a double, but Shaken is able to at least allow a chance for Wolves to contest, but they need a win. They need it badly. Purifier out. That will clear out the smoke. A chance to maybe move in towards Shutters, as Neon also has the War Machine in play. That will clear everything from the front-hand side, and Elevate will have to reform, trying to work through this War Machine and Purifier combo.
In possession, Purifier gets shut down. Squeeze me, Yopi. Well, at least collect that 1 kill, but 2 more in response there. Zai King able to find a couple, but still got players nearby, just over by the boathouse. Wolves Esports holding on for this back 28 seconds would be a lot ahead of the second set.
And they just need their ARs to start waking up right now. I mean, flat out, you've got Zai putting up a good stat line, but Neon's only on 9. Whereas on the other side, you look at the AR players for the side of Elevate, they are all over the kill feed. So it's just been one of those things that Elevate are just controlling so much space so early that it doesn't give Wolves a chance to do too much at range. Finally a good moment here, but it comes at the cost of Zai's second claw. That is not bad at all. It will clean things up from the front. Scrap time goes the way of Wolves, so they'll bring this back to within 7 points, but still, the trend, the pattern's definitely favoring Elevate.
I mean, like, if you have one giant elephant in the lobby right now, it is Zai up to 26 kills, and you would think that that'd be something you could rally behind for Wolves. More space for their ARs to get in position to be able to lock down these lanes and deny Elevate for the routes that they're taking, but it's just not suggestive of what the scoreline currently is doing. Elevate, fundamentally strong. The rotations that they've been able to have for themselves within the first set just have Wolves lacking in the macro.
Yeah. Kill feed again, favoring that of Elevate as we set back over towards B1. Yopi, good patience, able to clean out the topside windows. That takes his attention back to the hard point. Nice double out of him. This is a tough battle up top, but he's got good assistance. And wow, what a set of kills from Elevate. They are dominating the high ground, and again, just gives Elevate the continual numbers advantage, continuing to happen on both fronts. Down low on the hard point as well up top in the windows. Elevate looking really clean.
Split spawns are going to start occurring, though, from all the positional advantages that Elevate just previously held for themselves, and it might be an opportunity for Wolves to maybe try to collapse around P1. But most importantly, we just need to send somebody on rotation. That seems to be what they are starting to do. They do have those well spawns, so they're not exactly right next to the upcoming Lambo hardpoint. And that gives Elevate at least an opportunity to send a couple numbers that way as well.
Pred missile also being called in by King. That will give them a lay of the land. Sparrow out for Yopi, trying to get some damage done from the front. Not connected with anything yet, but he sees the players dropping out over towards the water side. That's good for a double. Back over towards the Fennec. He's able to stay alive a little while longer. Klo waiting for help. Has the equalizers out. Knows that there's explosive tips inside with the Sparrow out, so he waits for his teammates to clear it, and then he finalizes the rest of the kills to allow Elevate to get a very convincing break. Still 40 seconds to fight.
Keeping head on a swivel, equalizer in tow as well. Klo's actually going to start pushing all the way out. The equalizer runs dry, but still is able to walk away with a lot of more positional advantage than what was previously held. Elevate's lead will continue to grow. 25 seconds strong. Clean. Even PJ holding the Purifier outside of the window hop will be good for a handful of more kills. In Wolves, desperation truly setting in. They have the well spawns. They have a couple players spawning over by the rock. There's 12 seconds remaining. Is it worth it to hit for this old time, then get the spawns for new?
Well, we're using War Machine as well. This Wolves team is just not showing the same decision-making that we really gave them credit for last year. I mean, that was as convincing of a break as we've seen all weekend long from Elevate. Wolves really feeling the pressure, committing a key operator usage into 10 seconds of the time, and now what happens? You're late to do. You don't have spawn control again. Shing is able to at least pop off a little bit in towards top office. Neon inside a winery, surprise, and Elevate will continue to spawn close.
But you shouldn't need to ask for such heroic moments out of a handful of players for Wolves when you are playing in a game of Posse and a hardpoint versus Elevate. It's just a little bit of a difference when it comes down to the macro that Elevate have been showing through the multiple hardpoints we've had thus far. They still hold those close spawns, by the way. Wolves are not wanting to push all the way out. They do have a claw operated, though.
Yep, and that claw looking pretty decent. Shing's still alive, by the way. He's been on quite a streak with the Purifier out. Now back over to the Fennec, and for some reason, Elevate, are we not calming his position? Loses ammunition, so that's enough for at least a trade to come through, but the Wolves still have help from the front, and they've been able to bring this back to within 20 points, with still 15 to fight for at old.
Epic P4 moment, but again, by way of heroics. As far as operators are concerned, nobody really close to getting them online. Don't have them currently. So this rotation is going to be the old tried and true. 5 seconds left to fight over, still being contested as well, but now only trailing by about 25 or some extra. But look at the heads-up play now coming through from Peg. Already over by Rocks, here by his lonesome. The push is about to be coming through the upper halls.
Oh, and great awareness because his teammate in Shing spawns towards Boathouse, so he can turn his attention back over towards the open steps. Only finds one of the needed two, but Wolves quick to pick up on the trades. Elevate, now all of a sudden, they're the ones spawning over towards Boathouse side. So again, it's just a little bit of a flip-flop, a teeter-totter of spawns back and forth. Who picks up on it fastest? Right now, Wolves, at the moment, with the double from Zai, have a little more clearance. But as soon as I say that, now Elevator hitting from the Lambo side. It's just, you gotta have your head on a swivel, and King's gonna be able to assist with the Sparrow out. Wolves looking decent here to start this last hill.
Split spawns coming through for Elevate, though. Got a couple players able to work up that pinch over by the Boathouse, and everybody from Wolves will drop. 25 seconds to fight over here towards the end of the second set, and Kendi loves it so much he's going to pull out a War Machine.
Oh, and Yopi, thought for a second he was about to just completely foil this hit from Wolves. But Kendi, the one that really puts this thing without question in the favor of Elevate with that War Machine. 12 seconds to fight for. Elevate starting to grow their lead as Klo creates space from the front. Should be over 190 for Elevate. Wolves trying to get themselves in a position to hit the scrap while also getting the high ground, and that helps as Peg finds a nice keen double.
So one player lurking, that was Yopi dealt with. It's just they try to hit for the last bit of junk time. But it is a steep ask for Wolves to come back from this far of a lead. They have definitely enough tools to be able to do it, including Peg having at least that Pred missile and operator in the back pocket for them, plus Neon. Need to be timely and showcase better operator usage here in this final set comparatively to what we've seen so far.
That's a massive Pred. Gets 2 on the hard point and actually forces Yopi into a weird spot to where the Sparrow doesn't really find much value. Klo from the low ground at bottom bar, only able to find damage, no kills coming through. Susano trying to commit his life into the hard point, but the smoke is making a mess of it. Elevate trying to follow up on this, but the kills continue to tilt in favor of Wolves. Yopi trying to assist, but once again, the high ground windows looking good for Wolves. Yes, they're down 60, but they're making the right plays and they're waking up big time in the map.
12 seconds remain. We really need to start seeing someone from Wolves starting to position themselves, maybe try to come through open staircase, but they're all just focused inside of the time. And Elevate are able to reap from such a benefit as well. It's going to force a north to south spawn on the right side of the mini-map, and at the end of P1, Elevate will clean house. That gives them the free rotation to new.
This is the game right here, but Wolves at least have 4 of their 5 operators to play with on this break. It has to be perfect. Purifier out early for PJ. He'll be responsible for water, trusting that his teammates can clean things up from the back. Neon doing what he can with the War Machine, has found a couple. That's enough to get Xing involved. That's now Zai in the mix. Okay, this is starting to work out. Wolves breaking from the front, but they costed them 3 of their 4 operators. The only thing left remaining is Peg and Elevator still spawning close.
You pull out the equalizer here. Have to. This 40 seconds is so vital. Immediately calls in, starts just running straight down driveway, is able to find himself too, and then turns his attention back inside of the Lambo garage. And that is a clean sweep coming through for Wolves as far as kills are concerned. Can they continue to hold? Can they continue to keep them trapped on this side of the map and get a rotation to new as well?
Peg is just running circles. He's just going in and out of garage. Running laps around him. The follow-up from King is good. 14 seconds of scrap time, looking decent for Wolves. Elevator committing to the scrap time. They're not rotating over because they still have well spawn, but someone has to make the move on spawn to go. Wolves are still winning every single gunfight. Now on rotation is Zai. He's going to take a bit of a 50-50 battle on the backside. Wolves should spawn close as Elevate hold the lead.
They will get those back off his spawns, but you just have to clean them out. Pred missile going to be called in there from King. Doesn't find anything besides PJ, but it needs to be the space to work for this pinch as well from Xing.
It's looking decent. The timing of this pinch is looking solid. Kendi from up high has the War Machine, but can't see anything. The smoke in his way. Susano down low with the claw, though, cleans things up. 226 to 196. Spawns will flip. Elevate now holding from the high ground. Streak starting to be earned by Kendi. Klo off the pitch with the equalizer. May have just put the nail into the coffin on map number 1 as Elevate wiped the floor. One more hit for Wolves. It has to come from behind.
They're all going to be trapped back behind of this garden house, and they just need to pull out all the stops to try to break through.
Shots are good from Yopi Sparrow. Last couple of Wolves members dealt with as the smoke dissipates. 10 seconds remaining. 15 more to fight for on the hard point, and Yopi's got his attention in the right spot as the Pred missile locks things down from patio. Elevate gonna take map 1, 250, 196.
A lot closer than what it was suggested of being at the end of the first set of hard points, so that is a massive prop. When it comes down to Wolves, let's not forget, within that interview, they said that they wanted to face Elevate once again because of how strong their hardpoint and overall respawn prowess truly is. And we got to see that within the first set. I mean, Wolves, they look lost out there with some of the operator usage. It's the expending of a multitude of resources at the most inopportune moments. Elevate were rotating circles around Wolves consistently through the first and, candidly speaking, through the second set. That's where we started seeing Wolves at the end of that second set transition into a more macro development throughout all these different hardpoints, finding more key kills, getting high ground, power positions, making Elevate think twice before they just send one player on rotation. It was a good back and forth, but just a moment too late for Wolves.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of it was Elevate, they were cycling out their operators really nicely. Equalizers finish, Purifiers right up in its place. Sparrow finishes, War Machine's up right in its place. Yeah. So you're continually getting this forward pressure with the operators that are up close and personal, while also maintaining some choke point control by using your explosive operators like the Sparrow and the War Machine. So really good stuff from Elevate, especially I think to grow their lead initially. Like you said, Wolves did start to kind of make good changes in terms of how they were tempo-wise playing around the map, but it definitely was a day late and dollars short. Also, does it help that Klo finds himself 44 and 38 for the overall best KD, but everyone essentially pops for over 40 kills. Impressive stuff. Whereas your MVP from last year's Worlds, Neon, just goes 26 and 51. The Odin in his hand is just not as good as what he was using last year.
No, it certainly isn't, and you can see that just the discomfort when we get to Neon's POV. And I know it probably says a lot because Zai is technically at the top of their leaderboard, but he did technically slow down when we're looking at the kills that was being put up on the screen. But it should never have come to that point. Again, former MVP of last year, Neon, just really needs to come into their own here, needs a solid regain ahead of the search and destroy, especially with a multitude of respawns potentially on the docket.
You know, an interesting point here, and maybe something that Wolves, it's hard to do now because this is your last lifeline, but Elevate in their interview are talking about how one of the reasons they feel like they're really strong at Respawn right now is because they're running faster than most teams.
Yep.
They only had one Odin in play. That one moment in time, the Grau was still being used by Elevate. So they're really going for this more automatic pressure with their ARs rather than just locking down with double Odins like we've seen a lot of teams do. And honestly, yeah, it's kind of the SKS conversation from a couple years ago. Sure, your instant TTK advantage by running an Odin when you hit shots is really high, but if you're not hitting shots, it's okay to use things like a Type or a Grau or another MG. Just get something more automatic in his hands if he's struggling with the single tap weaponry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's also just the comfortability when it comes out of the weapons, the average proximal distance for these gunfights as well. That's where a lot of people would rather have the MG, being the bullet hose that it is. The margin for error with the MG, even comparatively to the Odin, is starkly different given the single tap and its nature of the Odin. But something does have to give. You almost feel like that this isn't the moment in time where you're just going to say, screw it, change everything, use this weapon instead. But you have to somehow figure it out. Either you match their pace if you're Wolves, or you try to slow it down by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. And it's unfortunate to say, in the most forehead statement of the day out of me, at the very least, is you just have to hit those shots forehead.
Yeah, it's just really interesting that evaluation hasn't come through yet for this Wolves team. Now, to be fair, you know, kind of watching them through Chinese Masters as well as at CDSI, they were, I think, on this current map pool, the most successful hardpoint team out of the 3 Chinese squads, because again, Slums was being played, Raid was being played. You know, they were really deferring to playing a lot of Summit and a lot of Hacienda before this event. But against this type of speed, they're not finding the same kind of success that I think they were hoping for. Now, with that told, we can transition away. Look at the Kurahano Metro. I love this call for Elevate to get this in the pool, or at least allow it to be picked in the pool, because flat out, you just don't want to play Wolves on Tunisia. You really don't want to see firing range versus them either, but you put them on a map like Kurahano or Takeoff, where they have not historically had a lot of reps, it should tilt in favor of Elevate in a major way.
There are some reps and potential of some VOD to go back and think about when you are Wolves preparing for this matchup, and honestly, some fellow countrymen, because let's not forget that Elevate yesterday did face up against Q9 on Kurahano. They did lose to them 3-7, so there is some data to be able to walk away from it. And again, going back to the overarching conversation from the patent aggression that comes out of this Elevate squad and why they found so much success in recent time, Search and Destroy on Kurahana could offer that snail's pace. You can slow it down, pending that your sniper rifles don't over and egregiously chow through some of these very longer lines of sights, and you can manipulate the utility to really dictate the pace of those 3 different lanes.
It'll be interesting because we've also seen a lot of teams that don't have a lot of rehearsal reps on this map just default to saying, let's play the sniper battle at mid, see who hits their shot. So we'll see if that roll of the dice comes through here. And I think in particular, you have that conversation, and your first chapter of that book starts with Neon. Can he light things up like he had all last year? That was one of the main reasons that he got his MVP, was because of his performance in Search and Destroy. Wolves have to have him show up right now.
And it really does say something, again, much like how we were talking about Wolves versus Vitality, you and I, last night, is that for Search and Destroy, this is where you do need to step up in a big way, because you do have that shadow over your head as the worst Search and Destroy team to come out of a very good Search and Destroy region.
Indeed the case. Spreading of the map here from both sides. 3-2 split for Wolves, looking at the exteriors of the map, whereas Elevate have more focus internally, kind of turn to mid. Trophy systems are also deep on these mid cuts between A and B, so it looks like Elevate want to try to stabilize the middle of the map and use that as potentially a retake contest and not take these long-range sight lines, at least not initially.
The only one playing aggressively and off of reactions alone would be PJ for Elevate. Watch out for player number 4 of Zai from Wolves. He's just waiting for the go button to either hit through the A cuts or all the way back around.
Honestly, if you're Zai, you're just trying to create noise over here.
Yeah.
Nade over the top doesn't get to where it's intended to go. Smoke will block out mid-window for Wolves as they're trying to feel things out, but honestly speaking, Elevate still hold a major advantage on the map. They're trying to play a B defense that will allow them to cut through B Street. And it's going to be expensive for Wolves because they've had to use so much utility just to clear this out. Deep smoke comes through, but again, Elevate not going to be affected by it because here's the crossfire.
Close just playing for the timing. Depending on the sound as well, Zai's going to start spraying some guns, but he has actually pulled two to the different
Good
defenders,
stun.
so Wolves do have numbers on this side of the map.
That stun, though, coming out of the middle of the map should be enough to alarm this Elevate defense that they're playing on to be. First contact good, though. PJ will drop at mid. Same will be said for Clo. So this defensive setup leaning towards playing deep on the B site. Not going to work out. Sniper shot for Susano. Misses initially, but does connect on the second attempt. Wolves getting the plant. Post-plant setup can be deep here, and that's an issue. Elevate responding to it by trying to play through mid.
All going to have to be a double stack together through mid. Maybe try to coordinate a pinch, but it's going to be delayed now. It's going to take a lot of time for Susano to reposition.
Yeah. Peg can just play an initial point of contact off an off angle here, as long as he predicts the correct angle. Timing is not initially great, but the follow-up could be, or maybe not. Elevate win the first two battles. Now it's just down to, can you actually clear out the high ground spaces behind the B site? There's the tickle on the bomb.
Oh,
that's
no.
enough to force out the check. Susano,
Wow.
Yopi, both able to pull Wolves post-plant towards them. They find every single kill, and how about that for a little 3v4?
A little 3v4 dissection through the middle of the map, just playing off of damage and information that was found. I honestly thought that Zai was the ace up the sleeve there for Wolves with the two picks that he was able to find for himself. He played it perfectly, pulled two players away from the A-bomb side itself, hit back through mid, found the flank, and worked out ever so wonderfully for Wolves until the 3v4 came true.
Absolutely the case. Trophy systems again for Elevate can allow them to play inside the B cut. Defense still preferring to just stay away from the sight lines. I like it. Keep your hard scoped angles, force Wolves to make a play. It's difficult to get nades back to this position. Yes, there's a trophy there, which makes things even more difficult, but just getting it onto this corner, so tough to do. And Susano saying, I'll take that advantage all day.
This is going to be the mental warfare, at least on this half, so long as Zai just continues to cause a ruckus on this A street. And it's currently trying to be set up for a very similar attempt over by B. That nade will cross paths with another nade, and most teams will not get any information from it.
Nade smoke all going over towards Kendi's direction. He's just going to try to spam through, see if he can connect on anything, as the defense now has to be alerted to a play towards B. Problem is, Zai, who continued to try to play at an island, does get taken down this time by Susano. So 5v4, major advantage towards Elevate as we're underneath the 55-second mark.
And they're going to try to rewrap this all the way over towards A main. Susano, don't bite off more you can chew. Angles being held, catches Tiana. He was trying to reposition. That timing's immense.
And now you've got Yopi in a spot where he can be kind of, you know, whatever he sees is what he can do. What a shot from King. This little jump peek, that will work out. Peg able to find one before dropping, keeps the numbers advantage in favor of Elevate. Follow-up good from Yopi.
Man.
And now it's just down to Shing, who does have the bomb, could plant this for potential to tilt the 1v3 more into his name, but this is still a difficult post-plant for him.
Gonna have to try to isolate a handful of players, very active players on the map as well, Yopi and Clo. Never want to count out Kendi as well. Does find the first, expects the second, but not the third to come all the way through. But, I mean, that is how you utilize your numbers in a 1v3 retake for Elevate. It got super close. Jing almost made it come all the way through. But this is, again, back-to-back rounds where Wolves did have every slightest bit of the advantage. They tried to get back through mid, thinking that they pulled enough defenders back over towards A. B was not the case of it being fully vacated from the mid being held, and they lost their numbers along the way.
I think if you're Wolves on this offense, you need to have the awareness to know that both the scopes are playing on safe angles on the outsides of the map. I would love to see Wolves do a little bit more focus to try to pull something in towards mid. Smoke that mid window. Try to get these mid-cut advantages by playing through mid, not just playing through the outside of the map, because once again, Susano's on one angle, Kendi's on the other. This time, Susano gets overwhelmed. Too many numbers to deal with, and Wolves are off to the races day.
It's full-on sprint, but watch the mid cover through the smoke is currently being shrouded for Yopi. The timing off of the nade. Clo does find that first blow, but now Yopi gave up his position.
And this is smart. Clo, I'm sure, dictates the comm that, hey, I threw this on the bomb, so they do not plant now. But Peg, pushing forward, takes down two. Means that you've got a 2v3 situation. Long wrap on the way from Kendi, and whoa, he's giving himself up. Whoa, what a shot! So now it's just down to 1v1. Peg versus Kendi. And it's going to be, initially contact for Kendi. Misses the shot, takes a lot of damage, but both players will survive and reset.
Regen's going to come through. Peg has the bomb. He wants the reach out as well. He's just laying prone around the backside of the box. His timing is everything.
Oh, they are about to be
He's not
holding
going to flick
hands.
through. We saw.
Oh, the timing. Kendi just holding himself in a corner, was looking to see maybe there'd be a plant for me to move, but gets caught, and Peg comes away with a massive clutch.
And it's a bold call still to hang around that area of the map, knowing dang well who you were going up against. You know that Kendi's probably going to be watching that box with a sniper rifle. Peg did have ample opportunity to get the hell out of dodge, which is why Kendi was no longer looking at the backside of the A site. So Wolves finally break the mold from a massive clutch out of Peg.
Same situation with the scopes here for the defensive elevate. I would love to see a little bit more focus from Wolves at mid. It's just essentially SMG and MG42 peaks. Nades are out. That bounces into the corner. Kendi able to connect for the first, and PJ is still very comfortable here. And wow, this is no smoke coverage. We're trying to find contact through mid without trying to really toss any utility or smokes to deter this elevate setup at all. And that's enough for Kendi to come back, find a couple of kills, and now Elevate have dominated the early stages of this round.
You got a sniper and an SMG. Peg and Jing. This would be Herculean to say the least. Clo has got a nice little timing. The head peak cannot get away with a kill. And after Peg found said kill, was able to get away, reset his life. There is time to try to dissect this defensive setup, but I like the response at Elevate. Look, we lost one number, just go back to a standardized setup, cover the bomb sites, buddy system.
Yep. And PJ is in a spot to where if he sees contact, he can finesse his life a little while longer. This time instead, he gets the timing. Peg drops the spam just in case. But Xing is not in the ballpark. Instead, he's over towards A Street. And there will be an opportunity for him to plant here and try to tilt this back into his favor, but I say that with such hesitation because it's still a 1v4.
Nice little campfire moment going on over by that B-bomb site. A little powwow, if you will. Sorry, Chloe will fill you in on what the group chat says at the end of this round.
Yeah.
Xing is taking ample time and just making sure everything is cleared. Will commit towards this plant. We'll have to see how the numbers advantage will work this time for Elevate.
Yeah, he needs to get one and get away. Get a reset in. He's not going to have a chance. Yeah, Elevate just sprint at him.
Just like holding the free scope, you just see 4 different blue players just
yeah, for real. Yeah, man, this map is really difficult from the offensive perspective. It's just, you know, the thing about it is you can tuck these trophy systems defensively into these corners to where you have to bounce these nades perfectly for the trophies to even be activated. So it's just one of those things that the defenders stay so safe for so long. That's why I'm kind of looking for Wolves to try to hit something and hit something hard. You know, smoke back towards mid window, throw your stuns and your nades into one of these mid cuts and try to push it through that direction. But easier said than done. Here's a big set of nade focus over towards one corner, but again, it just puts you out in the open. PJ for one. The follow-up is good, though, for Xing. Trades back and forth as Chloe tries to have the final word. Not going to happen. We'll go 3v3.
It's just a cadence that we have not seen out of Wolves, to your point there, so far, these 4 rounds of play. But that was probably the most aggressive up front that you could possibly have seen out of Wolves through the 5 rounds now. You have numbers. 3v2 on the map. B-bomb site starting to look juicier by the moment, but it seems that it's just going to be a retake. Kendi, Susanna both have sniper rifles, respectfully, looking for a pick.
Yeah. Pushes on the way in. Spoke still holding that towards the outside of B Street. Peg on for the plant. Here comes the push forward for Susano. Pardon me?
Sure.
Trade is out, though, so now it's just down to Kendi. 1v2 situation. Not unfamiliar to these grounds, but it's difficult to say the least. Misses the first onto Dion. Second will not be so fortunate, and he gets a hit marker. Oh, brother.
Woo. I believe both you and I were there for a second and thinking that that was just mere pixels away from having that second kill and potential for a 1v1. If Kendi's alive, you feel like it's always possible. 3-2 goes to scoreline. And then we go back towards a very aggressive look over towards A main. Last time they did this, they did not commit. Very standardized defensive setup, but the entire play for Wolves is just to have Peg on an island, create as much ruckus as possible for B.
And this is different already in terms of Wolves. They have been dealing with a lot of resiliency early through this A mid cut. Now there's nobody there. So this throws a lot of question marks into Wolves' mind. Is there someone playing up through mid? Nope, it's Yopi with a shotgun, which you thought may be in the proper spot to find some effectiveness. Not the case. 2 sniper shots will land. Wolves now in a 5v3 for the post plant. Chloe may decide to try to chow this quickly. Try to catch one on the exit. First sniper shot misses, but now he's stuck. And there's nowhere for Elevate to go. A 3-3 happen. Considering how it looked early, that is unreal good for Wolves.
Yes, it really is. Again, when it comes down to it, Search and Destroy has been the weakest game mode for Elevate this entire weekend so far. 1-2, but still undefeated. And top 2 seed coming into the single elimination bracket. But Wolves really did impress me last night, the way that they looked versus Vitality in that map number 2. they can definitely get in your heads when it comes down to the aggression and how accurate they can be. 3 kills for Zai is not the sexiest KD ratio in the world, but he's setting his team up continuously.
There's still a lot of free space for Elevate to work over towards A. They've got some deep trophy systems down as well. Wolves are just letting them have the map, essentially. And you don't want to let Klo have the map, because then he starts to do stuff like that. Smoke on the way in. Wolves try to use this as a chance to retake and contest this bomb plant. Ching on the corner doesn't quite get affected by the stun like Elevate had predicted, but the trades are good, and Elevate just run through A.
And that's the aggression that we were asking out of Wolves. We saw a bit of it when they aggressively hit through mid to B, but it wasn't anything like that. And again, Elevate has one game plan, one MO in mind, and that is just to run you down and outshoot you as well. So Wolves have to respect that is a very possibility. These early stuns and nades need to be timely to be able to get the information, but it seems instead of A Street, why not go down mid?
Shoulder had been seen by Kendi. I love this call, but time's going to run out on this play as that smoke on the A cut is going to dissipate. So Elevate need to make a decision here. You don't want to be stuck at mid. And Kendi is just going to play the Vanguard, just contact checking with a Tundra. You think he's feeling himself?
A little bit.
I'll say. Missed the first. Doesn't miss the second. That's not bad to go 1 for 1. Still tucked in a corner at mid is PJ. He doesn't get checked. And now all of a sudden, Wolves get caught on their rotation, and it's a free play for PJ to move in towards A. First sniper shot misses for King, and PJ finds a second.
Absolutely one shot. What a hit marker. PJ should be dead to rights. Here comes the cavalry, though. Rest of Elevate swarming around the A-bomb site. 2v4 now. Can Wolves find the timing or an exit?
First shots are clean from Zai, looking to double up. Knows he's got players a little bit deeper. Neon on his secondary pinch. That lands. They know they've got one player nearby. Elevate, back off. That was Yopi who was close initially. Now he's tucked into a corner. And against an Odin and a Tundra, it's just do not give them the angle. Yopi able to take down Zai. Neon now in trouble. There's the shoulder from Yopi. Shot misses for Neon. Follow-up coming through down street, and that's Susato to meet him at range. Elevate up 5-3.
2 more rounds from a 2-0 lead out of Elevate. And again, aggression is a suit they've been wearing since the start of it all. It works out so wonderfully for them, and just how decisive they are once they start flipping the transition from one bomb site to the next. Look at how just placed these nades are. So wonderfully done, and how much space they take because of it.
Yep, and it's just immediately a throwdown at B. Zai trying to survive through the stuns. Not going to work out. The SMG's just too quick, too confident. Phoenix ringing out through the B site. Wolves in trouble, but King fighting back. And Peng, he wants to chow this. What an explosive challenge from Klo, though. This breaks the camera. Slides on him, leaves it down to King. 1v3, and he's got too many corners to clear. Elevate just rushing through Wolves, now up 6-3.
Trying to make this offensive half a little bit of a speed run. I tip it out of you, Elevate, but again, it almost feels like anything you can do, we can do better and faster as well. Just the speed that they are just covering these sites. There are no party tricks. There's no bait plays. It's just nades, take space, gunfight.
That's just game plan right there. That's the GP on GD right there. Game plan on game day. Looking good for Elevate. Here comes the rush. Shing just overwhelmed. Mercy. Wolves trying to hold on to the backside at B. Do well to slow down the play from PJ. Klo also has to give up the angle for just a moment. Help is on the way. This is completely enveloped. Now it's just down to who hits their shots. First shot misses. Yopi trying to follow up a little bit deeper. That will work. That's going to scale this Elevate offense deep into the B side a little bit more. Wolves have to be worried about that. And as Peg checks the shoulder, he gets punished. It's all down to Neon. We called him. He needs to show up in a big way. First shot goes awry. 1v2 for Neon. This is a wide peak from both players. Shots will miss, and Klo will finish it out. A 7-3 stat line. Elevate looking clean.
It's the one map mode combination that needed to be a guarantee for Wolves to stay alive in this series. We knew that they had to try to seal away a respawn. They themselves in their interview were very, very much so admitting to how good Elevate are at respawns. But when Elevate get to a Kurahana where we had some question marks, it was going to be a very good look for them regardless for things like that. Would you don't see a body, you don't even connect with any information off a stun, they don't even hesitate. Not even just to confirm the information, but just to get in your face and run you over immediately. The ability that Elevate have been able to showcase at CDSI, here at Worlds, is nothing but respect for how quickly they get in and how quickly they work together to get those team shots, to get the kills, to get the bomb planted. It's fundamental COD, baby.
And I think the thing about it, you know, kind of hearing the conversations around the community about Elevate in the opening moments of CDSI, their search and destroy, it's like, brothers, we kind of figured this out. But by the time they started getting into the playoff bracket, hey, let's just get a good game plan for our map pick, win that, and then we're good to win the series because our respawn is so good. That's been the case here. This was their map selection. They looked very well bred for it, especially from the offensive perspective.
Yeah, I can't say anything but just amazing things. I mean, for a 3-3 half, just to waltz on into your offensive half and then just completely eviscerate the Wolves along the way. Some very close calls and some very clutch moments. You look at players like Kendi, like Susano, the aggression from close, spearheading a lot of the mid plays were Yopi and PJ. It's just a well-oiled machine at the end of the day. Even Callie can't help himself, but just absolutely love what Elevate are doing.
It's clean stuff, man. It's clean stuff. Yopi, Susano, Kendi, PJ, all walking away with 9 eliminations. Chloe at 7 and 8 was also the catalyst for a lot of the plays and how they started. So again, it's a good 5-man roster putting together an even effort across the board. On the other side, yeah, the sniper rifles, not impactful for Wolves again. Bottom 2 fraggers are your 2 scopes for the Chinese squad. Not what we saw from last year. They were the 2 that really carried them through a lot of the S&Ds.
And you were really hoping for the bounce back from Neon. You know, we always set it up. Maybe a better player once he gets a sniper rifle in his hands. And for Kurahana Metropolis, it surely should have been panning out that way. But when you're getting stunned, smoke checked, naded, and displaced continuously just from the team nades that are coming through from Elevate, very difficult to do even at the highest level of Call of Duty Mobile. So it's do or do not now for Wolves as you find yourself down 0-2. And now you have to reverse sweep Elevate. I want to say they've been here before because they absolutely have, but it finished in an absolute sweep. Now they have to reverse it.
And the control has not necessarily been a staple for Wolves,
No,
let
it has
alone
not.
on the fact that they have to play it on Seaside, which they played once at CDSI. They were able to 4-0, but that was Standpoint, who are not here. So, again, it just kind of comes down to how the map veto selection has worked. Elevate, because of their dominance and control, continue to hold edges in this 3-map pool set. So, they get the Seaside. They have the choice between that and Arsenal. You take Seaside because you don't want Wolves to go to one of their strongest overall, map mode combos. And again, it looks pretty clear that Elevate should be able to run through this and get a 3-0.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way, right? I mean, even as far as the comparisons that we've gotten through both maps 1 and 2 at this point in time, the slaying prowess and just being able to manipulate whatever map that they're on. When I think of potential spawn trap in disastrous situations, specifically when it comes down to Seaside, I fear for what Elevate might honestly do here.
Yeah, and the other side of this conversation in terms of putting together the second step of the reverse sweep, then you got to go to Elevate's map selection of Apocalypse Hardpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't feel necessarily all that great based on the results that they put together. I mean, it's just been one of those things, and the numbers say one thing, but I think the narrative point overall is you go back to CDSI and you combine that with the Swiss, and now so far through the playoff bracket, Elevate have only lost 2 respawns in that time period. That's a lot of maps of respawn that they went through. Only dropping 2 is unbelievable.
Yeah, I'd feel pretty confident coming into this entire tournament if I were Elevated. You can't necessarily blame that once you go up a handful of rounds. The jump challenges, even when they were down by a round or 2 out of Kendi, Susano feeling the swagger as well. Everybody has a target on this team.
Yeah.
There's no doubting that. You did win the most recent major tournament at CDSI, so everybody wants to try to beat Elevate. Arena is now officially on the map, and it's nothing but just bright eyes, just trying to see who is going to step up to the task and try to take them down.
Yeah. Well, with that, we have some comms, I believe, from the previous 2 maps. We'll check out some of the sounds of the game to this point.
Nice! Okay lang. Fucking hell, okay lang. Nice try, boy. 2-3 lang tayo, 2-3. Magko-commit. Harap mo. Magsisiti ako. Tara, PJ, bigyan ako. Last hit. Isa pa. Isa pa. Nice! PJ! Nice one, boy. Nice. Backside tata. Baka kung ano kung... Ilang. Hawak pa, kaliwa. Top side. Yeah. Nice!
Last 2. Let's go, mamaya na.
Nice. Last. Niyan. Niyan lang yan. Sige, plancho. Huwag kayo matay. City.
Pepet mo.
Kaliwa. Hapel. Kaliwa. Nice!
Energy high for the Elevate boys, and why not? A big 2-0 so far in this series, with the swing map going, again, very favorably towards their direction based on the history. Seaside for our control coming up here. And it just feels like by how we've seen Elevate play this map over the course of their region qualifiers, over the course of CDSI, they've got a really good handle for it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at just the usual suspects coming through for Elevate, and why they've been able to find so much success. It's going to sound like a broken record, I'm sure, to you all at home by the end of the day, unless you're like us and are just such a massive fan to be able to see this Elevate team do super well. I think that it's just, when you're as confident as ever, when you go back, because I'm sure that they've also realized the simple stat that you just said of only losing 2 hard points across a very short and yet elongated time period, yeah, you're going to be feeling pretty darn confident going into the Seaside. Everything pans in your favor.
Yeah, been really convincing stuff, man. So, who knows? We may have another region claiming the crown of the best COD Mobile team in the world. Started off with North America, really dominating the conversation. Last year, India on the map, with China taking what felt like a trophy that was pretty much going to go their way eventually, just kind of seeing how things trend. But now all of a sudden, Elevate really coming into form for this arena region. Definitely a chance to see them escalate in towards the #1 spot, not just in the Eastern region after CDSI, but in the world. And that's after, by the way, again, their Swiss schedule was stupid hard. They played 3 teams that all made it to playoffs and beat them all. So Wolves, a team they've already seen before in the last couple of weeks and have dominated. They're looking to really cement that if they could put them away here at the 3-0 tally.
The 2 games that went all 3 maps yesterday for Elevate both ended on raid. It's the first time that they're playing Seaside all weekend long, but to Shift's previous point, not exactly an unknown venue to them.
No. That's going to be PJ on an R9 as Elevate defensively going to have to respond to the quick pressure from Wolves, hitting the U stairs already in towards this bottom B point, and it's looking pretty decent. Even kills to this moment, but 2 ticks of progress locked. Great date, I guess. I mean,
it works.
It bounces right into the lap, and there will be enough contest. I believe the second tick did get locked, but still, Elevate will reclaim control of the zone, at least for now.
Sure will. Second segment got locked, so you feel like one more good push might just be the B control zone, but you already have a threat over towards A by their lonesome was Peg. Maybe biting off more than they could choose as the rest of the numbers for Wolves are trying to get down inside of the brick staircase, trying to take over the restaurant once again.
Yeah, good kills from the side of Wolves. They know they've got a player on one of the side stairs. That's a really brilliant win from Susano initially, but can only do so much with it. So now Elevate holding on towards barrels. Wolves not able to push up through Church, so they're trying to hit this right from the front. Peg, quick and in the action, trying to find these Elevate members onto the defense, but they've backed off just a touch, trying to measure the approach before they try to recommit, and as they do, it's Clo for a handful. That's 3 in a row for him as Elevate look to now step forward towards Checkers.
7 kills, and the closest one to him in the lobby is currently 4. Just a great start coming through for Clo. Just when you think that you fully cleared everything, Clo might just be working on a little bit of a pinch. Peg is pushing all the way up to the already captured zone. And the one thing that you are benefiting from Wolves is that there hasn't been all the space taken away from Elevate winning those previous gunfights.
Yeah, and Elevate are very aware that there could be a push forward on the overextension. They've dealt with Peg initially. Next contested would be King in that department of the map, whereas the rest of Wolves are trying to stack themselves up for a hit from the front. Susano, really well done, as again, this front cupboard is being locked down by the Elevate defense. Wolves trade things out, but it's costing lives. 14 plays, 10 minutes, 12 on the clock.
Got one player just pulling so many different numbers from Wolves. That's going to be Clo again, who's just finessing his life. Look how many numbers for Wolves. They do not want him in this position. Finally taken down. And I can shift their focus back towards the front. Just under a minute left to play, 12v10.
Good opening from King, but they can't clear out Secret. Kendi, R9 in hand now, as they know that this defense is likely going to have to be resounded from inside the barrel. Susano deals with Peg. And where is the hit from Wolves? They have yet to even come close to hitting anything in any sort of concentrated form. Shing able to open things up, but I mean, what are we doing here? I think Neon still had a scope out. I mean, we're fighting inside of barrels. It doesn't get any tighter than this. Here comes the play from Clo to clean things out. Equalizer is tilting the advantage. 7v4 situation. Clo's not done. He's not done in any form. How about the spree from Clo? 6v2. And I'm not gonna lie, Neon needs to put away the frickin' scope and get involved.
Zai's last alive, 1 of 2. You know exactly where they're located at now. 1v4, not enough time, you would think, to isolate the last 4 remaining players, but a great call for Clo. Just exploiting the one thing that is lacking from Wolves, and that is a close proximal gunfight around barrels and inside of this A control zone. Zai will finally fall. Elevate will only allow 3 seconds to go all the way through, which is massive for them, should this even go 5.
And again, Neon's got the Odin out now, but I want to say throughout the majority of that first round, he's still pulling out a scope.
Yep.
It's like, what are we doing? 1-6 start for the MVP from last year. While in the meantime, Clo is having it his way. Early equalizers lead to now a pred, and you've got explosions all over the map. War Machine, Sparrow, all being used on either zone here. So you've got tons of trophy systems down for Wolves that counteract one of the 2 threats, but not the other. Clo in mid-map at Church is just going to kind of play a pivot point as Elevator looking for the spawn trap.
Predator missile in. Trying to work it. Any kills coming all the way through. Going to be into the waiting hands of the Purifier with PJ. Already finds 1 Predator missile. Sends Peg to an immediate spawn screen again.
Well, this is going to be interesting because now all of a sudden the Wolves have cleared out their spawn and they're putting together a spawn trap of their own as we jump into a Wolves listen it.
还有点，还能刷。我帮你们断教堂。往前补，让后面的去。刷不成了 ，A 去了。 我走了，能不能省个大招？咱家注意死角，咱家左边死角。跟他掰吧，哥们儿。咱家左边死角死了。在家等着呢。就架着。别了。给我狙了。跑。去个吧台吧。等花箱应该快好了。 我去吧台。等花箱应该快好了。
Very calm listening as Wolves set up a bit of a spawn trap, locking down every single lane. Not much to say. You watch that angle, I'll watch this one. Don't lose your ones. And at the moment, Wolves are winning every single one of them. Elevate now working on a little bit of motion through checkers. They're going to find a way to try to enter on into the site.
Going to try to keep this close proximity. Kenny with the R9 would be the tip of the spear naturally. Yopi does find the opening, and now Kenny has found his way in. Will be traded, though. The claw's been popped.
Claw for Susano. Damage tally. Doesn't quite use that as a way to confirm any kills, though, and that will be enough for Wolves to clear the zone. 12v4 situation. Looking clean for Wolves. Just down to what Elevate can muster on this last hit. If they can do it cleanly, there is chances to hold this very convincingly, but the problem is how do you get rid of this stack over towards the front stairs at checkers? And the answer is you don't. Peg finds the kill. He also has an equalizers in case things get messy, which doesn't look like they will. Peg still in a bit of a spree off 2 in a row. Follow-up from Xing is good, and Clo has been seen on this long flank through Graveyard, so should be a pretty comfortable defensive win for Wolves to get us back to a 1-1 count.
Yeah, I mean, and throughout the entirety of that listen, and what was very evident was in fact, that the spawn trap was very good. Whittling away so many of the different lives. Clo is just trying to chase down somebody. They're just running away from him, just playing with his food. All right.
What is happening?
I mean, this is just like the most aggressive game of cat and mouse I've ever seen. Like, we have heaven weaponry, prize fighters as well.
What's going on?
I don't know, but someone please cue the Benny Hill music.
I'll say, no one wants the zone. It's like they're trying to allow Clo to get more capture done. What is happening? What is happening? Wolves are finessing, trying to, I think, get Clo on the zone for some sort of capture, and they're letting him find the eliminations until finally Neon knocks him out, but some moment of comic relief there.
I don't know. I'm either glad it's over or sorry it happened. Like, one of those. 4-12 for Kenty so far. As Elevate struggle to find themselves any segments over by A, so we're all tied up there, 3 apiece.
Quick action, full 5-man hit, automatic towards the A zone. Elevate trying to stand tall, but Xing has pushed themselves through. War Machine just trying to lock things down in case there is some sort of a pinch, but not to happen. Elevate's trying to set up the spawn trap. This is going to come at the cost of a free A zone, though. Will that actually play the difference maker? Because honestly, Wolves can still fight out of their spawn, and if they still capture, they could rotate quickly to B, but Elevate's defense from behind clear out the point. That will be enough to deplete the third tick progress.
And it allows Klo and Susano to try to get into a nastier position. And since losing 1, 2 more have now replaced a fallen Elevate member. Good heads up, peek there out of Susano. The Odin not going to be able to get the better of Xing in that gunfight on the bottom side of the stairs, but you still have presence from the team in blue on the opposite side of the map.
Yep. Well, here we go. Wolves now on their next approach. Do you get the extra 60 on this attack?
We tied for the
Close by himself over towards B, so in terms of defensive status, Elevate is really putting a lot of investment towards holding on towards the zone itself. Sparrow part of the picture. The hit towards B starts to develop those. Wolves find the solo defender there, and they will quickly realize this is a wide open zone. Enough for at least Xing to stop the clock at 35 seconds, and now he's going to try to hold his life with Sparrow out.
This is good control coming through from Wolves, albeit down by 7 lives now. Xing going to pull out the Sparrow, finds himself 2. Kendi pulls out the War Machine just as a response, shut down almost immediately. Second segment on the way over by B, and numbers are that much more potent on this side of the map for the Wolves.
Now Xing able to win that 1v1 onto PJ, so now Elevate are in dire straits. Off the respawn, they have to be worried about mid-map. Third tick locked at B. No one in position to deal with any immediate exits. This is just about if Elevate can stop Wolves from playing through the backside on the OE. Klo from the front, comes around the corner. What? Able to get the left hand right into the face of Xing. And that now all of a sudden has Elevate playing very far forward, scaling this defense into checkers.
Xing has been anchoring in their base, just expecting somebody to try to push all the way through, and by the time it finally does, Klo doesn't want any more of it. Just completely resets with the rest of his team. The defense is all centered around barrels, but you still have players trying to guard off the church.
Yep, you have one member from behind. That's Peg. He's got the equalizers out. He's good for 2. Purifier to counter. King, Annihilator out as they get the shutdown onto PJ. Shot misses though. King shut down. Klo now with the equalizers. He's looking to push forward, and will he ever? 3 kills in the feed. Elevate now pushed all the way up, and with only 3 lives remaining, Wolves not looking all that potent to try to finish off this offense.
Not likely. Neon does have an operator, but you really do hope that they do not pull that out. I know it's not the greatest KD ratio you got going for yourself, but you're going to need that for potentially a round 5 defense should the kills continue to rest the way that they are. How it does work, segments are currently going to be led, albeit from an extra offense. But with these 5 segments, does technically put Wolves in a better position to try to get that round 5 defense should it not end on the upcoming round.
War Machine out for Zai.
Wait,
they think that they could put this away. They think they could just get out and stack, and they may be right.
Wait.
Two kills are in. This is going to be a 3v2 to try to open this up. This is still winnable. Last 5 seconds. PJ, he's got the R9, and he's good for 1. Not able to get the second. Just down to King. Can he contest the zone? It's on with 0 seconds, but Yopi cleans them out. A real strong investment for Wolves, thinking they had an opening, and it gets shut down.
It's just an awkward thing to assume that you have an opening just with that much time. I mean, when you do find the white, you do send them so far out of the way that the stack 3-player strong, should everybody have stayed alive, would have came all the way through. But once the trades start to follow up, Elevate just have to reinvest a couple more numbers around the zone and be perfectly fine. Can end here should Elevate win an offense.
Oh, but Peg over towards barrels. Able to find a couple to open things up. It leaves Klo by himself with a 1v1 versus King, which he does win. Clock will stay paused at a minute 16. First tick of progress looking likely to get locked here at B. Follow up from Elevate. Try to clean out the middle of the map. Well, also, PJ is just trying to make sure there's no spawn trap. He's done well on the top side of Fountain, at least initially. But Xing has the final word. Gets himself 2, and now Wolves have to be considerate about what's coming off spawn from Elevate.
Yeah, I sure do. Have a couple players already pushing past the well, though. Do Wolves just trying to at least meet them. Kendi finds a nasty one versus Zai. There's a lot of stray gunfights happening all the way across the map. You still have 2 players over by the B zone. That's going to have to be chalk. You do have King putting himself into a position to maybe find a couple exits. Does find the first.
But Elevate stave off the spawn trap. Live starting to get pulled back a touch for the Elevate offense. 18 plays 21. You've got a deep member in Yopi playing through Church to clean up on the Zai forward. Now all of a sudden has Susano looking in towards the zone with help. But Yopi takes himself out of the picture with the Sparrow. That could have been huge to stop the Wolves' defensive rotating in, but now it's just down to Kendi to spam this back alleyway through Dark, and it will not be enough to find many eliminations. Claw on the other side from Neon. That'll be good to open things up and get Wolves back in for contest.
Do need to try to use this claw for maybe another kill or two. You would love to have that. Extend the life lead from 17 plus. Another 13, try to get them to the single digits if possible, but the claw will have to be put away. No operators online for all 10 players within this lobby. But you have a minute and 35 to try to exasperate the numbers of Wolves and try to find a way in.
Long route on the way from PJ, but the hit from the front is not developing. Good shot from Kendi, little pixel peek from him. Shake, proactive with the Sparrow, able to find one, turns back over, Trophy System denies the final bolt, but still, the kill is in. And now PJ is trying to cause a ruckus inside the spawn. 13 plays 9 though. The hit from the front starting to develop. Yopi, how much can he finesse inside the zone? A couple of the Wolves members still alive, Neon in particular, playing the backside of the pillar, and that's enough for now Zai and Neon to start working things back with the War Machine coming through. Wolves looking good with an 11v5 to try to finish off this round and set us to a 5th.
And War Machine might be an overinvestment again, but hey, Zai might honestly earn it by the end of the next round as well. He's pretty good at getting score in a game of Call of Duty Mobile. Still 5 lives remaining. Klo pulls out the equalizer, thinking that might just be the opening required, and they're just running straight into him.
Yeah, I mean, Klo's going to turn this into a 4v4 if he could just keep farming these kills off spawn.
Yeah.
So now it's just out of what actually happens from the front. Klo's not going to lose any of these gunfights, not with an equalizer out.
Oh my
now
gosh.
it's just out of what's happening on the zone. What's happening on the zone? Elevator finding the kills. It's a 2v2 situation. Second tick of progress is in. Third on the way with the double stack.
Like this.
Who can get in? PJ has a purifier out. Does he predict the right doorway? He sure has. Yopi falls the first. Now it's just down to the 1v1. Peg saves the day. We're going to round 5.
What a call from Klo just to put Elevate, who were so far down in numbers, in a position that almost had them winning. In that moment of time, Peg, for the 1v1, had to get both kills at the end. Was lighter HP, but the shots were that much more pure. We go again.
It's Wolves on the round 5 offense. Early focus into the B zone. Tools of the trade available for both teams. Hunter Killer drone already out. EMP also was charged up by Yopi, but that's it. No more score streaks, no more operators for Elevate. Wolves working on their second tick of progress, looking good for it with Peg and King still holding on to operators. Huge tools for Wolves as they try to finalize this A zone.
B zone's gonna get fully captured. What's the exits look like? You got an Elevate member in your spawn, by the way. Oh, what's that you say? Oh, there's 2. Kendi and PJ are trying to keep these players at bay, and Kenny's just gonna find 2 immediately off the spawn. Here comes at least one more player to try to get these Elevate members away. And King's actually gonna invest the Annihilator just to try to win these gunfights in their spawn. Does have one spawn member come up to just try to help things out. But while all this is happening, Wolves are developing a spawn trap of their own.
That's over towards Bakery side. King able to get the Annihilator to not just clear out the spawn, but also clear out the front closet. Elevate trying to deal with Neon around the back, and the boxy gloves will do the trick. Now over towards Dark. PJ versus Shing. Advantage PJ with the health pool. And that's enough now to get Elevate in the zone. Yopi making sure there's no hit from the front as the Sparrow cleans things up. Peg trying to get the equalizer around the back, and he's going to put some pain into the Elevate spawn.
Isolated gunfight over on the left side of the map, and Klo's actually going to be able to win that one as well. Equalizer out from Peg. Just waiting for kills to come all the way through. Well, Kenny's just going to be the first, but immediately traded out. Nice investment from Yopi there with the Sparrow. Now you only have 2 more operators left to go through, and that's Elevate not only with the positional advantage, but also the resources too.
PJ and a bit of finesse, trying to get himself back in towards safety, trying to contest this left side closet. Good for the first, almost transfers for more. Claw out for Susato, spamming things down. Bolts are firing all over the place. And that's enough to keep the Wolves' offense at bay a little while longer. But the Claw gets expired. Good patience from Wolves. We're still in a 13v15. Kendi now the next one up with the War Machine.
And it's the resource management coming through. One gets expired, the next one gets pulled. Trophy system out, but Kendi still finds 2. The trophy systems can only stay alive for so long. 35 seconds left to play. 3 operators online for Wolves.
Just comes down to the timing and the effectiveness of when they decide to use these under the 30-second mark. Long flank from King. This is going to be potentially a 1v1 between him and Klo eventually, but the hit from the front starts to get forced as Shing, when the War Machine for Zai start to be used together. Peg pushing through all the damage. PJ, the last one standing.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to fall, but Klo, are we joking? Klo's still alive, but only for so long. It's just the Claw left. 6v6. Neon's not stopping the clock. Neon's not stopping the clock. Eventually, Wolves get on, but that's a lot of time drained. Kendi on the way forward. Shut down by Neon. Neon still doing a little bit of work. 5v5 action. Yopi on the re-entry. Not able to get there. The Purifier shut down. 4v1. It's just down to Kendi. The stack is in. Kendi's trying to hustle to get there. Can he find an angle? Peg holding it down. Wolves will survive into a fourth map.
We go again. And you never really want to count out Zai getting just a war machine round after round. Always good for it, always generating score, but yeah, some sweat has to be dripping down their brow the way that you were able to at least clean up those last few kills from Neon, but instead of just holding inside of the zone, stopping up that clock, wanted to hold a further position. It only benefited going 1-for-1, but it meant that you did have to pay some respect and slow up rather than just sprinting straight into the zone, into barrels. It made you think twice about it. The Wolves, step in the right direction so far. You took away the control, but still so much more to do in this entire best-of-5 series, but a good step in the right direction.
Absolutely the case. The heroics in round 4, I think, take the cake. And then the efficiency kind of in round 5 to make sure that spawn trap had good value, especially on a Peg with the equalizer initially. Massive. So many small moments. In terms of even the first 2 rounds, offensive wins were right at the precipice. So a very tight map back and forth, but Elevate will drop their 3rd respawn in the last month and a half. And now we go to an APOC hardpoint where, again, Elevate will feel really good about their chances to put the series away here. This comes down to, did Wolves wake up a little bit and get ready to go for a map that they are not bad at for any stretch of the imagination?
You might need to go down there and tell those boys of Wolves that exact stat, because they might need it. They looked a little baffled at the end of even winning that map just to stay alive in this series, just for how oppressive this Elevate squad truly is. 39 and 26 out of Klo, who was always a thorn in the side of the spawn. But as far as slaying is concerned, Zai in the respawns for Wolves all weekend long has been consistent from their CDSI performance as well. Just needs a little bit of help, and we could probably see a lot more out of this Wolves team.
Yeah, absolutely the case. But a better performance from Neon in particular, I think, especially the heroic moments that were required from Wolves. Peg continues to show up when it matters most, and Zai, who has been the statistical leader for this Wolves team, has been impressive. They're going to need that in a major way, though. APOC coming up next, a map that Elevate have really utilized a number of different moments. Not so far this weekend, to be fair, but watching them play it a couple of different times over the course of CDSI, there are some very convincing results, including a 250-39 win against Stalwart earlier on in the playoff bracket. They also had a beatdown of Vitality and a convincing win versus Q9 on the map. So they've played some really solid stuff over the course of the last month and a half. And with that, we will step aside for just a brief break before we jump on in. So don't go far. Get yourself refreshed there, friends. We've got map 4 on the way right after this.
大家好，我们是来自中国队的 Wolves。这一次我们来参加亚特兰大的使命召唤手游世界锦标赛。这一次我们是来拿世界冠军的。
Yeah. The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the United States Air Force.
Something that you've never seen. We run like a wild machine. Watch out, cause we're baring our teeth. And there ain't no in between. With fire, you're gonna get burned down to the wire. Now, what did you learn? We're coming for you. You don't wanna mess with the winner. Ice so cold, make you shiver. You're looking at a cold-blooded killer. We're coming for you. It's going down. We rain on the room like a storm. Yeah, we're way too big to ignore. We'll shake you, we'll rattle the floor. You know what we came here for. Play with the fire and then you got burned down to the wire. Now what did you learn? We're coming for you. You don't wanna mess with the winner.
to the cold river. Set fire, sealed and delivered. Slow burn, shot to the liver. Heart so cold, make a grown man shiver. Wake up, don't be afraid. Make love, but don't be tame. Even the king in the crown is lost soul. Walking in a dead man's crowd.
Nakakalabar.
Lasit yung kulo, bar. Cut yun na. Nice! Nice!
Last niyan. Miyan lang yan. Sige, plant nyo. Huwag kayo matay. City.
Kaliwa.
Tapel. Kaliwa.
Nice!
Ball ko respawn trap.
Kaya patiling ka.
Kaya huwag nyo na patayin.
Nice nyo, kaya magdamitas.
Nice one, Kaylo. Nice one, Kaylo.
Ako chapel. Nice. Side. Eddie.
Eddie boy. Bakit tayo?
Okay lang.
Eddie boy.
That's okay.
Welcome back to DreamHack Atlanta and the COD Mobile World Championships. In the quarterfinal stage, Elevate Wolves squared up in what has been a good one to this point. Elevate started off 2-0 up, but Wolves' heroics in round 4, round 5 of the control has them their first map win, and what would be one of what needs to be 3 check marks boxed up if they want to pull off this reverse sweep. And it all now comes down to the focus of an Apocalypse hardpoint for map number 4, a map that tilts in favor of Elevate. It was their hardpoint selection. Time to get to work if you're Wolves.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, time to get to work started back in round number 2 of the Seaside Control. You would really feel like that's where things started to shift in their favor. But it's one of those things that when you go back and you fully dissect the 3 maps that are played so far, a late resurgence in the Hacienda map number 1 for Wolves, very much so could have swung that back in their favor should things gone a little bit differently within the first 3 hardpoints. So I'm interested to see this Apocalypse hardpoint for a multitude of reasons. Again, very well rehearsed. They know this venue quite well, do Elevate. However, Wolves have historically, when it comes down to their overall region, have been much better at the respawns. That was indicative in that round 5 on Seaside Control.
Really, for me, it just comes down to P2, P4. 1 and 3, very 50-50. You're going to pop operators. You're going to handshake it. You're going to tug of war it. There's going to be a little bit of that back and forth.
Sure.
But rotational wins to set yourself up for a strong opening at P2 and to do the same thing over towards P4 cannot go lightly. You cannot just funnel through cave if you're the team breaking. So lots of things to look at, but really just rotate better and you should be okay if you're Wolves in this map.
Yeah, you know, and that's what was most alarming when it came down to that map 1 breakdown. Like, the biggest takeaway, like, albeit a 250 to 196 scoreline, which was much more respectable, the 70-point lead started to grow just with how proactive this Elevate team is in the respawns. We even saw it in the control. Every single kill means more map positioning, means more terrain to be taken away from any team that they are facing. Wolves were kind of thrown into a very difficult situation where they were constantly hitting for all of 9 seconds at the end of P3 when P4 was about to pop. We need to see some more proactivity coming out from Wolves to get the rotation in their favor, anchor out those spawns, and get in better positions for players like Neon to have a better performance with that AR in hand.
Absolutely the case. And then just as a reminder, looking forward, if Wolves were to find a way to take away Elevate's map selection, we would find ourselves in a one-and-done firing range search and destroy. That would be Wolves' search pick. A map that they've played a ton, but to be fair, the results were not convincing on the map coming into the event. They've played it a little bit more so far this weekend. It's been a little bit better. So could be an opportunity for a reverse sweep to come through. But I think, again, the big focus is can this Wolves team keep up with the pace that Elevate have already shown us?
Hey, the first step is obviously possible here when it comes down to Wolves. You finally took a map off of Elevate, and that within its own self, it's got to feel close to a championship ring. And you gave them their first respawn loss in quite some time, and especially on Control, their first Control loss all weekend long. All of that said, it is Apocalypse Hardpoint. It was their venue to pick for a reason. 10-2 leading into this entire weekend across all the tournaments that have recently been played for Elevate. They freaking love it here. We got to get some teams laid down the groundwork, get dirty, because you never know where these SMGs for Elevate might be lurking.
And with that, locking down lanes, transmitting good information. That has to be the key. Opening nade, well placed up towards maps. That'll work out for Elevate. Finding themselves an early advantage on the hard point itself. Now they take the battle underground in towards the trenches. Spawns have already moved just a touch. King's working on it, holding his ground just outside maps. Zai trying to get there to join him, not going to be allowed to, and Elevate will stabilize and early flip the map for Elevate.
Yeah, this is a massive moment for them again. Always playing for the macro. Still plenty of time left to fight over here at 1. Great from the top down distance of being able to see how much of that smoke just covers, but it's only Elevate that are able to reap the benefits. If the problem is they pushed up a little bit too far forward, they've opened up the back B2 spawns.
This is those moments where you say you're actually killing too good.
Yeah.
We're running these guys so badly that we've already pushed them into the back spawn, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as they get the recognition that they lost spawns, they've cleaned that out as well. So Elevate are sticking it to Wolves here early, who are down and down bad, 40-0, with P2 coming up next, and Elevate already in control as PJ and Kendi put Wolves into a bit of a blender.
All right, the crossfire is immense. Kendi has full streaks. Predator missile also being called in by Yopi, because why the hell not? A hell of a start. The spawns flipped 4 times in total, and Elevate still maintain presence on the ruin side.
Unreal.
Bang.
Unreal start. Not good if you're a Wolves fan. Now you've got to try to fight up against Kendi with a War Machine at the ready. And at least Wolves are making the right read. You smoke out the jump wall, you try to hit over towards Temple, but the problem is the War Machine's there to meet you. Slowing it down a touch or Elevate, but they still are being tested. Wolves trying to still force their way on in. Nice jump over the wall to catch a couple, but Kendi turns his attention, finds the kill, and Elevate continued to keep Wolves on a goose egg.
And from the outside looking in, you're down to scrap time, 20 seconds before you got to rotate all the way across the map. You already have that side of the map, but I mean, Wolves are just throwing numbers all the way through the tunnel, and they're just getting blown to pieces. The bottom ruin spawn just opens, and now you're in an even worse position if you are Wolves, because you want to hit through the old time. It's just down to 5 freaking second shift, and Elevate have collected every hardpoint second available thus far.
Absolutely blanked. Oh, and the exit kill works out, so now Elevate, they very well may have this thing to 100-0. They've got operators at the ready. Wolves can't get to the P first, and now all of a sudden, Wolves are just trying to force something with this little play from King. That gets shut down. Elevate are perfect. Sparrow, Equalizer, Claw, all being set, and Wolves are being set into disarray.
Equalizer shut down by Clo. The immediate response from Zuzana from the Claw, but Yopi's very much so alive with the Sparrow, and then PJ dips into a Purifier, gets shut down, but Yopi with the Sparrow is the absolute truth. Predator missile to add insult to injury. 25 seconds to fight over here at 3, and Wolves finally get on the board, but it's a breadstick.
No, Yopi! Huge double out of Yopi. Just really feeling themselves now are Elevate, and Wolves are being dismantled. Oh my God. PJ around the back, not able to keep this thing at a convincing scoreline. Do you say that now that Wolves have earned 5 seconds? I don't feel like it's good to say.
No. There are many, many different steps, but we are very much so at square one for Wolves. I mean, a 2-for-5 kill feed trade is the most convincing kill feed that we've seen from Wolves this entire game so far. It goes even beyond the macro versus micro, as Wolves are starting to dip their toes into their own resource department. Again, P4 is a very massive hill for Wolves to finally spawn on into this map number 4.
It's tough, man. This map can snowball in a major way. We haven't seen one quite like that in some time, though. As if Elevate were to say, took one of our respawns away from us, hurt my feelings. Elevate trying to really pack a punch here as the break attempt's on the way, but Wolves still holding on. Just comes down to, can they finesse this last 25?
Nades galore all the way across the statue head. Good kill feed coming through from Elevate. Once again, 20 seconds left to fight over here on the first set of hardpoints comes to a conclusion, and it is a blistering pace that Elevate had set for themselves. PJ, 22 kills, 20 for Yopi. Everybody's just absolutely slaying, and Susano can just kick his feet up and just watch these longer lines of sight. But Wolves break back in. It's only for 5 second shift, and it's just not good enough.
And Kendi is transferring like he's playing on mouse and keyboard. He's snapping.
Yeah.
But this is how it happens for Wolves, little by little. You're not going to make up 100 points in the blink of an eye. Have to trust the process, and immediately that has to be about playing the macro of the map right here. Yopi try to hit a bit of a pinch around through P3. Clo right there with him. Traded out nicely, though, from Wolves. Now within the 100-point threshold, starting to look a little bit better. Can they get a tally onto Kendi deep? Yeah, they can. So hold on a second. Wolves starting to step back up just a touch. Elevate now with an opportunity to pop operators on this rotation, but Wolves are dominating around P1.
It took them a little while longer on the Hacienda map number 1 to realize their mistakes and try to rectify them a little bit too late, but that was when the lead was 60, not 100. But this is fantastic to see if you are a fan of Wolves Esports, as they are currently soaking up the majority of time on P1, keeping Elevate at bay and making sure that they hold on to the utmost important rotation of 2.
Nice Pred missile called in for a double. Elevate trying to stretch through cave side to P2. That's shut down. Uh-oh, here we go. Wolves back to within, just around double the points that Elevate were able to put together in the initial parts. The last couple of seconds, really pretty meaningless. It's all about what happens here on rotation to 2. Wolves are there first, plus they have spawns, and they've got a gravity vortex gun already aimed up towards this backside cave.
Just trying to shut it down before it can even happen. King's gravity vortex gun at least finds said value in the claw to follow things up with Zai.
Sparrow out deep over through cave side. That works out for the first. The push over towards the secret window. That will also work. And now there's a claw for Susano. Now trying to push over. Seeing if they can get Wolves displaced from this spawn. PJ with the purifier. Locking down the front door. Equalizer to a firm control. And PJ almost finishing things off. But Clo now knows where to turn his attention. And the spawns will flip with elevating control P2.
Yeah, good call there from Clo with the equalizer. Just make sure you clean out everybody else in the back. And then you can shift your attention back towards the front. Might as well. Hunter-killer drone to shroud yourself to move a little bit further forward, elevate, maintain control once again.
Last 15 seconds here for Wolves. Have to control mid-map as Elevator already rotating out through the jump wall. Back to a 100-point gap. Time is running out for Wolves to put this comeback together. This has to be good, whatever it is. And it's not starting on the scrap time battle. Elevate able to win the last couple of seconds, and they've got members off spawn to get to P3 first.
It's just tough to really gauge. I mean, Zai only had 16 kills. I know he's not too far away from the rest of his teammates, but had a great map number 1. Is a little bit silent here. King's going to be able to at least find 2 in the response, but Kendi's right there because, of course, he is. Another good kill feed coming through from Elevate as they maintain presence on the hill from the back.
Shutdowns are decent. Wolves able to find 3 in a row. Peg setting up a bit of a pinch over towards the rafters. Good for 1. Off the reload, takes his attention towards the barrels. Good focus here from Wolves. Nice little team push coming through. That flips the spawns around. This is not where Elevate wants to be. Wolves do not have any operators to make this really hurt, but they can lock down this trench lane, and Ching nearly does it all himself. Elevate tagged up heavily. Neon trying to follow up on that damage to confirm these eliminations, but just a bitter eye. He just cannot lock in the shots. King trying to force it forward, but Yopi's got the Sparrow, and Elevate will break.
Yopi's Sparrow efficiency this entire map number 4 is something you can absolutely write home about. Grandma's going to post it on the refrigerator. Another kill to come all the way through for Yopi. It's 213 to 98, and Wolves are just not here to play.
Have to find some sort of a break through this. You got to get chicken coop control. You have to dominate P4. Elevate have the setup that they want. It's just down to finding the final kills to possibly send themselves into the semifinals on Sunday. Close double is good. Claws out from the front, and it's absolute pain. Thrown in towards the choke point. Kendi, a war machine behind it. Last 20 seconds needed. Wolves have to find a way to desperately get in.
They just gotta have to work this pinch all the way through Chicken Coop. 2 players strong, but of course it's being looked at. Neon comes through with a war machine, comes up absolutely dry. It just comes down to King, but PJ with the purifier answers it back.
It has to be a play through cave side, and PJ is gonna melt everything in front of him. Elevate, the CDSI champions, 4-0ing Wolves back in China. Fast forward a week and a half. They're looking good to send them out of the tournament here at Worlds as PJ is lighting them up. Wolves still hanging on by just a breath. Susano from one side, the rest of Elevate from the other. Still time to work here if they want to try to put it away on 4. Otherwise, you can just get mid-map control and win it there.
You got to go new, but it might not matter. 242 counting all the way up. The last little bit of scrap time here at the second set of hard points is just going to be another nail in the coffin for Wolves.
Clo hanging out, can just step on in and find the final second. Wolves down to their last life. Can they find the kills they need? No, it's Yopi for the final double, and Elevate move on to Sunday.
Got it done at CDSI. It was 0-4. Come here to Atlanta for DreamHack 2024. You lost the control. You kind of angered them a little bit. It was a 100-point lead at the end of the first set of hard points. Was egregious of a scoreline, to say the least. But Elevate came to play. That much was obvious, even through the Swiss bracket. They are the real freaking deal. We asked about their consistency and what they look like on that main stage at CDSI. That has been a continuation ever since then.
Absolutely the case. Domination has been the name of the game for Elevate. moments of concern, sure, still kind of hang around in the search and destroy leading up to this matchup, but that performance on Kurahara, I think, knocks all of those concerns out of the ballpark.
Sure does.
Yeah, you lose your first seaside control, but we're dealing with a 1v1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just going to happen versus your defending world champs out of Wolves every now and again. But to come out and blank Wolves and have them at 115-0, mercy.
I mean, we had, I'm not even going to attempt to do the math, but just the slaying differential in between Elevate and Wolves was just so immense in this map number 4. But it also just gets accentuated by the conversation about the operator usage. Through every single Respawn map that was played in this best of 5 series, Elevate always had the edge against Wolves, which is crazy to say because that was the one thing benefiting them in Respawn this time last year.
Absolutely the case. Clean stuff from Elevate, knocking down China's number 3 seed. For Wolves, it's a year that is filled with just not being able to get over hurdles. Could not get over Q9, could not get over X-Rock, only beat them once between the 2 squads overall, and now a chance to go up against Garita's best. They fall in 0-2 form in overall series count versus the number 1 team out of Garena.
Elevate absolutely determined to show why they were undefeated out of our Swiss bracket, now coming through here in a dominant fashion to continue their way through, now in the semifinals, and they will be facing off against Galaris tomorrow. This is going to be a very, very fun Sunday to kind of end this entire competition.
That's a saucy one because, again, just looking at how Elevate play both their hard points, it's only a single Odin in the picture. Everything else is full automatic rifles that they're trying to use for their long-range battles. So going up against Lucazin, the king of single tap, what does that look like in that battle?
Well, we're going to find out here tomorrow. Before we do that, though, it's time to close out the day, which means one more interview with one more winner. F-Dot standing by.
Thanks a lot, I'm here with PJ. Thanks a lot, friends. I'm here with PJ, and PJ is certainly here with us. You and Elevate, you went crazy. But here's the thing. All of these teams are talking about how good Elevate is. They think you might be the best team here. Does that give you added pressure, or does it make this more fun?
It doesn't give me any pressure because why do I have to think of what others think about our team? So we just want to be ourselves. We just want to play. We win as a team. We lose as a team.
And over here, you've got a team on the stage, but you've got a squad in this front row as well. Talk to me a little bit about who these people are and why they're supporting you so loudly.
Some of them are our supporters from other countries. Some of the one particular family here is actually Tribe Washi's family, supporting a Philippine team, and we have some Filipino too. And thank you and shout out to all of you who are supporting. Please keep supporting us throughout the playoffs. We'll do our best. We promise that.
It's about family, and it's about bringing pride to the region. You're certainly doing that, man. Congratulations on the win, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got Beef Mommy standing by with the rest of the bracket. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you so much, F-Dot. I'm with Chloe right now. My dude, what an amazing performance from you and the squad. How does it feel like to be the highest placing Filipino team in the Call of Duty Mobile World Championship?
Of course, we're prepared. You know, it's good. It feels good, and I think I see the trophy.
He sees the trophy, y'all. It's right up there on stage, but you still gotta go through 3 more teams tomorrow. And when it comes to support, of course, when it comes to really hard moments like that control game, how do you handle that pressure, especially when you have to go have that mental reset?
What?
How do you do that mental reset? What's your motivation? Is it your family up and on stage, or the family that's literally taking a video of you right now?
You move on. Whether you win or lose, you need to focus to the next game.
What do you have to say to the family that you have here with you, not only on stage again, and also the one that's over right here? Super cute, by the way.
Mom and Dad, I love you. Thank you for coming here. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Chloe. You already know what to do. And there you have it. One more team heads up to the grand finals. I mean, we already know what's gonna happen. Glitter, Shiv, Proper, up to you guys.
You know, I know we're supposed to be knocking out these teams, and there are commiserations to all of the squads that have lost their matches today, but the sportsmanship that we see every time we get to do these interviews and the respect they have for each other is always so nice to see.
It's so heartwarming. I mean, last year we had people drawing full hearts around logos. Like, you cannot stop the sportsmanship that is currently being existed in that backstage amongst the pit. Gotta love it.
I want blood. I want blood in the water. That's what I want. I want storylines. I want some rivalries. I want the drama. That's Call of Duty, baby. Come on, give it to me.
Lucas gave it to you, okay?
True, you did give it. That's fine.
We got a little bit of everything, a full spectrum of reactions here to the wins. Our team's now being whittled down to top 4. Looking forward to tomorrow. We're focusing on semifinals, getting down to our top 2, and then, of course, heading into our grand finals. So take a look at the brackets. You can see a visual representation of that exactly. It will be X-Rock up against Q9, and then Gallerus against Elevate. That's going to be a banger of a day.
Absolutely. The X-Rock Q9 rivalry continues. At one point in time, X-Rock had won 3 matches in a row versus Q9, but Q9 did get the better of them at CDSI.
Yeah, I honestly think that X-Rock throughout the entirety of their tournament, I still am waiting to see how tested they can honestly be until either they make it to the grand finals. Q9 will finally be that test, but my eyes are all glued to be able to see what championship form does look like for Lucas. And again, top 2 player, he ain't number 2. Excited to see what he looks like against this Elevate squad.
Yeah, hopefully you guys are prepared for what we have in store tomorrow. And we're going to show you the schedule so you know exactly what to expect, what you can look forward to here tomorrow. We're going to be starting same time that you've gotten used to, 10 a.m. with that X-Rock versus Q9 match. Then we'll, of course, whoever wins that will move on to our grand finals. Then we'll have to see who comes out on top between Gallerus and Elevate. Then from there, we will have our best of 7 grand finals. It'll be a little bit of a break between that Gallerus and Elevate match. Give our players time to reset and prepare for the fight of their lives. $400,000 on the line when it's all said and done. It's going to be incredible.
It's a lot of zeros, not a whole lot of decimal points, but you know, it's a lot of money. At the end of the day, it's life-changing, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's just awesome to be able to see international representation coming through to claim the prize of being the #1 team in the world until the next season starts.
And to be candid, there is an opportunity of us seeing a new region to be crowned as champions, since only one of the Chinese teams will make it to the grand finals. It'll be either Latin America or Korea to try to challenge that regional championship.
It's going to be great.
It's a spicy meatball.
We literally couldn't ask for anything better here. This has been a phenomenal year of competition for Call of Duty Mobile. It's gotten tougher every single season. We love it. We love it. All right, we're going to wrap up the day here because Alan's clearly
off the reservation.
He's done for the day.
Thinking about meatballs.
Give me your final thoughts for how everything's gone so far and what you're looking forward to tomorrow.
I mean, albeit we only had 2 series that actually went to map number 4. It was a fantastic day of competition. I know we said it a handful of times, especially when we were talking about our 3-0s, that is as competitive as a 3-0 could possibly be. Just very happy to be able to see all the international representation going up against each other. Would have loved to be able to see more competition, but I'm satisfied for now.
The West is still alive.
Ooh.
Don't sleep on the West. That's all I got.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
Okay,
He's
well said. Our top 4 are set. Tomorrow it will be down to X-Rock, Q9, Gallerus, and Elevate. Those teams will be fighting not only to just compete in the grand finals, but then to take the whole thing home. Who will be crowned the champion and the best in the world? We cannot wait to find out. As always, a huge thank you to Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL, and the U.S. Air Force for helping us make this whole thing possible. And thank you to all of you both here and at home for hanging out with us and watching. If you're here for the rest of the day, enjoy DreamHack Atlanta. We'll see you tomorrow.
Surely not number 4 Neutrino. We're here
luminosity. Sapphire, war on two fronts, but you're not going to get a war one.
This is a wide peak for both players. Shots will miss, and Chloe will finish it up.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, DHL,